Hi all, what's going on? Tuesday? What's a good name for Tuesday? Transition Tuesday. We're transitioning into the week, but we're not far away from the weekend. Transformation Tuesday. Leo always does better than me. What's up guys? Tori here from Daily Blast Live. We have an amazing show for you today. Lots of things going on in the world, lots of things, including what's on everyone's mind about these children being separated from their kids. Obviously, we have a lot to give you. What we're not going to do is be like, we think it's wrong, we think it's wrong, we think it's wrong. We're going to give you some action calls, some things to do if you think it's wrong, some things to hear if you don't think it's wrong. What we want to do is take action and let you guys have some power back. What I don't like to do is just complain and complain and complain without giving you some insight. And what do I say about knowledge? It is
power.
Thank you. I was so glad you knew that. I was so worried you didn't know that. So I'm going to give you some names. I'm going to do a tutorial. I just want you guys to be more informed about what's actually going on with the truth, but not with my opinion, just information. So I hope you guys appreciate that, because I don't want to be like, how awful is this? How awful is this? How awful is this? We know. A lot of people who know either believe or don't believe. So what we're going to be doing is giving you insight and information, knowledge, which is power. So always make sure you know who your representatives are, your senators, what's going on, because it matters. If you're a citizen of this world, it matters, and of this country. So first of all, today I feel like I look a little bit like a librarian, but in the 1942-ish era. I can get you that Dewey Decimal System. Okay, that's how I feel today.
Teach me fractions.
I sure can, but I'm a woman, so in the 40s, I'm not sure I'm allowed. Okay, so, sorry. Fifth host, if you guys don't know what fifth host is, welcome to the show. You guys are absolutely our fifth panelist, and we want you to hit us up with your comments. If you want to take a video, hit us up at info@dailyblastlive.com. A lot of you have been sending in videos, and I triple dog dared you to, and you totally took it on. Bravo! So keep sending them in. We are so proud of you guys when you send them in. All right, I find this topic very interesting. It's called co-parenting with your best friend. The author of a new HuffPo article, or Huffington Post, said that her best friend is a mother of two boys, ages 3 and 13, okay? And she herself is the mother of a 1-year-old. Now, they live in their friend's 3-bedroom apartment in Bedford, which is in Brooklyn. The moms agreed to share all housing expenses, groceries, rents, utilities, even Netflix. They're going to support each other and be each other's line of defense when dealing with parental up and downs. So this is essentially co-parenting with your best friend. Interesting new topic. Lots of thoughts come to mind. Let's talk about why this probably is happening. What's fascinating is that they just did a study, no city in the United States, not a single one, could you rent a 2-bedroom apartment on minimum wage. You cannot afford to live in a decent place without vermin, they said, in a 2-bedroom apartment if you are making minimum wage. Literally, they aren't paying our workers enough to live. So this has become a necessity. You share the rent, you share the Netflix, you share the groceries, and you share parenting skills. You share someone to nanny for you so you can go out. So what we're seeing is co-parenting with moms and dads. We talked about that. That's sort of been more traditional. This is now your female best friend, you're a guy, you're a single dad, your male best friend, because of necessity. They need to cut down on the rent. I think this is brilliant, because at what point are you not going to support each other in this way? I'm going to bring a mom up. Smurf, are you busy? No. I bring up my resident mom. This is Smurf, guys. She's a mom of 2 kids. 2 kids. How do you feel about this new study that's showing a lot of people are co-parenting with their best friends instead of, if they're a single mom, instead of they're moving in together, sharing the rent, sharing the groceries, and parental responsibilities?
If they think it's best for their kids, you have to trust them as parents.
Okay.
I mean, you know, who's the person I'm co-parenting with? Am I co-parenting with someone responsible? Am I co-parenting with someone who doesn't have children, has no parental instincts? They're just my best friend and I'm calling this co-parenting.
Right.
But if they're the right support system,
why not?
You know, why not? At the end of the day, you're the biological parent, or even an adopted, but you're the declared parent.
Right.
And you need to be accountable for those kids. So hopefully your instincts are right, and you're pairing up with someone that makes your decisions better.
Absolutely. And what's important here is that, thank you. And I think, right, if your best friend is respectable, they have kids, it makes sense. It's too much money. So the study that came out said not a single person on minimum wage could get a 2-bedroom apartment any city in the United States on minimum wage. Not one. That's telling you something, that we are literally not paying the workers enough to literally survive a decent human life. So I want to know your opinion about that with co-parenting with your best friend. Would you do it? Would they not? Joni Osora just wrote us in. I'm on disability and I can't afford a place of my own. Joni, if you're watching, would you be fine moving in with a friend or someone to share the rent? Because at this point, I was with a boyfriend, we broke up, we had to stay together because we couldn't afford not to. So it's become somewhat of a necessity to share groceries, rent, and parental responsibilities. I also believe in it takes a lot of people to raise a child, so having more friendly support there isn't a bad thing. Children need to be with their parents, says Sagina Johns. I think you guys are talking about the immigration policies. Kimberly says, I think it's a fabulous idea. Who could support or understand your situation better than another mother who is also your best friend? Totally with you, my love. Ellis Walker, if you are co-parenting, share the responsibility. I can't imagine that this is a, if anyone thinks this is a bad thing, come on in here, we're talking. Co-parenting with your best friend.
Yeah.
Would you do that?
No.
Why?
Personally, it's
This is Jeray, everyone.
Hi guys. I think the interference is like, it's a lot actually.
But if you couldn't afford,
you mean like if
my best friend moves in, can we split the rent, the Netflix, the responsibilities of parenting? We have our kids together.
and like they have a child as well, and I'm no. I think that it steps into a really weird boundary line and like how
You're
the
concerned about the
discipline
boundaries.
go.
Okay.
And the two separate ways of like how I raise my child versus how you raise your child. Actually, to go ahead and relate to this, I know it's a little bit different, but dogs, for instance, I had roommates in the past, and I had 2 dogs, they had 2 dogs, or I had 1 dog, they had 2 dogs. And how I would discipline my dog is different with how they would discipline their dog. They took a lot more physical action, in which we take a lot more of like a no and like. It's the more emotions that we do. But with that being said, I just don't think that it should be my responsibility at that point.
I hear you. You're saying there's boundary issues.
Yeah,
and that's
there's a lot of
actually
boundary
probably
issues.
the only response against this that I could
Right.
see. But if you do trust your best friend and you don't have the rent, because there isn't anywhere in the United States that you can have minimum wage
True.
and have a decent living
True.
and decent housing, this might be a plan of action. It takes a village. A lot of cultures, you have the parent move in.
Yes.
So
oh,
this could be-
totally.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like grandparents and whatnot, like Dominican cultures, for instance, like that happens all the time. Grandparents, aunts, uncles.
Right. So
like,
if you trust your best friend like that? But you're right. There could become a problem.
There could be, because then it becomes like, is this a lifetime movement, or
Right,
is
how
this
long
just
is
for
this?
like a little
It can
bit
cause
of time?
problems.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
can
good
see where
point.
it'd be a
Well,
lot
Joni
different.
just wrote us back. Thanks, Joni. She says, I have to stay with my ex. Thank goodness we are friends. And I said, my ex and I stayed in the same apartment in separate rooms because you couldn't afford not to.
Right.
So
Oh,
at some
no,
point,
totally.
it comes out of necessity. Leo
I
is
mean,
having the
at
same
the end of the
feeling.
day, nowadays, real estate is saving relationships. So let's be real here.
100%.
Yeah, like,
It's
thank
necessity.
you, Uncle Sam.
Yeah,
I appreciate
right.
it.
You're
Yeah.
keeping relationships together.
Legit, man.
This is so fascinating. You guys are writing in with immigration conversations. We will get to all of those. We're taking it seriously. But again, we're not just saying this is wrong, this is right. We want to give you a call to action, some information, some insight, and what you can do to have your power back. I know it feels like a helpless time for a lot of people. Well, guess what? I'm going to help you make sure that you get, even if it's 1 name, 2 names, a phone number. Today, you will be better equipped on what to do with your feelings. Whether you like this or not, I'm giving you both options. So I want to let you know that, because this isn't the show to just complain. We're going to give you information. That helps you feel more powerful. So the second topic is wastewater into drinking water. I can hear you. Clearwater, Florida is getting a state permit to use treated wastewater. Let's call it what it is. That's toilet water, for what it calls groundwater replenishment. What a good spin on that, replenishment. So Tampa has a public hearing, basically recycling treated wastewater as drinking water. It was raised 20 years ago, it remained, but the answers are different. It would help kill toilet tap water in 1998, now saying it says it's safe now. So would you be comfortable drinking knowing it was recycled wastewater? You know?
Would you?
No, I would
Really?
not. But at the same time, if I heard, because 20 years ago when I researched it and they said it wasn't safe, now there's different answers. So 20 years ago, they said it wasn't safe. One of the scientists who report helped kill toilet to tap water in 1998 is now saying he will use treated wastewater. So in the past, I would not be okay with this. In the future, I would have to read more about this science because it has changed. Well, Jason thinks it's fine. He can have all the replenishment toilet water he wants.
Well, I'm just saying, I feel like, hey guys, I'm sorry, I'm just saying, I've seen Bill Gates drink the treated water, and I feel like all water, until it's treated, is going to have stuff in it that would be gross. But it's treated, so it won't be gross
But in
anymore.
1998, they said it wasn't safe. So that's why I
Well, a lot has
hesitate.
happened since
Right.
1998.
But I would
I
wanna
am
read
no longer
more.
on my AOL account, for instance.
What?
Yep.
What was your name on your
this
AOL
one-
account?
I'm not telling you.
Mine was Half to Dream with a 2.
Mine might have been Jabo74. But
J-Bo.
point being, I think this is a reality that we're gonna have to deal with, which is that
You're right,
water
and
is a
finite
measured,
source.
finite source,
You're
and
right.
we're gonna have to drink water that came through someone's toilet at some point.
Now, Thomas
and that's
Henry-
gonna be okay.
Thomas Henry just
Trust
said
me.
what we believe. Ew, yuck, that's Tory. But if it's safe to drink, I'll be okay with it. That sums this whole thing up.
Yeah,
Because
ew.
yuck.
But we're gonna have to get over that. Just like someday when we're eating crickets as our main source of protein,
All right.
we're also gonna have to get used to that.
Just
I
flush
can
them
go
down
on
with
and
your
on.
toilet water.
This is when Tori should probably push me off screen because I have a lot of ideas, people.
He has a lot of ideas about insect population and protein helping. Anywho, we're going to get into that later. There was a craft beer, Kimberly says, a few years back that was made out of recycled toilet water. What's the IPA on that? IPA.
That's cute.
Woo!
Remember those signs? Welcome to my We'll notice there's no pee in it. We'll
Yeah,
leave those for the sinks.
that's right. I wouldn't, and I live in the Tampa Bay area. This is Ellis. Give me bottled water, especially during hurricane season. Well, I'm also against the plastic. You just saw a whale come up and have 30 pounds, I think it was pounds, of plastic in them. And the oceans are dying because of bottled water, but I kind of
And those
understand.
chemicals are probably worse for you.
Well,
sleeping out
I don't
the
want to hear
plastic.
that, but yeah, there are chemicals in bottled water. But at this point, as long as there's a good PR, Bill Gates can really, he's a great person to do this. Someone like Elon Musk, someone we trust in terms of an entrepreneur and an inventor, I would listen to them about this. If this was convincing and I heard the facts, Flint, Michigan has no water for people to drink, so maybe it's better than lead. You know what I'm saying? No thank you, safe or not, it's just a mental thing. That's totally fair. That says Barto Litatrevino. Are you Italian? Science backs it up. I would drink it, says Thomas Henry. I agree with that. No, I'm in Tampa. Area bottles.
Also,
so bottles.
Juneteenth. We're going to learn a lot about Juneteenth.
We're also going to teach you, so talking about immigration in this whole situation. Guess today is June 19th. It's also known as Juneteenth. This is the end of slavery, if you guys didn't know that. This is when the Emancipation Proclamation was actually told to slaves that they could leave. They didn't do that for 2 years. We're going to break it down. Information all over the place today. So enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Bye, guys. Today on Daily Blast Live, the heartbreaking sound of kids separated from their parents.
No, Papa.
DBL is asking, what can be done? A harrowing rescue caught on camera, the latest on flooding in the Midwest. Plus, hip-hop pioneer Daryl DMC McDaniels sits down with Jeff and Al.
These comic books, even though it was a fantasy, pretend, make-believe world, it wasn't fake to me.
How he's turned his love of comics into a new venture. And the answer to the age-old question, can money buy happiness? Daily Blast Live starts right now.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Tuesday, June 19th, and we are a live show talking about what you're talking about right now. Let's get right into it. We are live, and right now, outrage is growing after an audio recording that appears to show the cries of Spanish-speaking children who've been separated from their parents. It was given to an attorney by a whistleblower, and a warning to our viewers. This may be upsetting to some.
No,
It's tough to hear. Being a parent and, just thinking that was my son is tough to hear. It's tough to hear. But, I mean, I guess we'll just jump right into the discussion. There needs to be laws in place to battle this immigration problem. But this isn't right, what's going on. This has nothing to do with immigration. This is humanity. This is humanity of what's going on.
This is what... First of all, American Psychological Association came out and they released their findings on over decades and decades. What happens to a child that's separated from their parents? What happens to a child that's detained and not allowed to be consoled or touched? They said that the child will develop poor impulse control, social withdrawal, problems coping and regulating emotions, low self-esteem, pathological behavior such as tics, tantrums, stealing, and self-punishment. And that's not even including the trauma associated with being ripped away from your parents. So we know the end result of this. We know that the damage, it's torturous for the parents, but we know that the everlasting damage to the children is something that even if we did something now, it's going to take years for those kids to recover.
And how do you think they're going to feel about the United States when they grow up?
I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed. Al?
I don't know. You know, on our sheet, I was just, while you were talking, I was looking, it says immigrant kids, because that's how we label them, as immigrant kids. They're not immigrant kids. They're kids. And we know what we're doing. We, in my eyes, and there are two sides, and we have to play both sides, because that's what we do here on the TV show. We have to approach it from both sides, but there is no both sides. If the wails from those kids didn't do anything from you, it's because you don't view them as people anymore, and that's okay too. The reason you don't view them as people is since the beginning, there has been a systematic way to break down the way you look at people. If you saw a kid crying on the playground, wandering around saying, "Where's my mommy?" the first thing, I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican, would be like, "Where's this kid's parents?" But the thing is, we don't see that kid anymore as a child. We see that as a number, as a problem, as something we need to turn away and get rid of. They should know better. They should turn around and go back from where they came from. What does this sound like? This sounds like the end of the United States as we know it. This is not being dramatic. Our president started this 3 years ago when he started accusing our sitting president of being not from this country. That is the seed of racism that is planted, and that's why we're here now. This has been a systematic thing, and we've watched it happen with the kneelings and conflating that with instead of police violence, we conflated that with the national anthem, and now here we are. And we have to rap, so we can't talk about this.
No, but I think you're going a little bit too far. There is legal immigration. There's
what does that child have to do? What does that kid have to do with anything?
Then let's talk about the children. Let's not bring in everything else.
I'm talking about the children, Jeff, and everybody should be talking about the children. I'm not saying you're not.
No, I know.
I'm just saying this is something. What else are we going to talk about on here?
There's people on the other side that think differently.
I don't care. They're wrong. How about that? How about that?
They're saying the same thing to you.
I don't care. I don't care. I'm so sick of this both sides. I'm so tired. And send any comments you want. Al Jackson on Twitter, whatever you want to say, just bring it. Come on, because you're wrong. I'm sick and tired of this. I'm sick and tired of pretending like we don't see what's going on. We're in the United States watching kids get hauled out of cages.
I know.
And no one can. They want to talk about policy. It's a 5-year-old that wants his mom. And what's wrong? How did we get to this point where we're arguing so much that we've lost the fundamental thing of who we are as people?
You know, you talked about the playground. That was the first thing I thought of. Like, you know, if you saw a child who couldn't find their parent, you would want to, as a human being, find their parent for them. You would want to advocate for that child. But I have to read this because it is Juneteenth, and we'll talk about that later. But this is an article from CNN by Stephen Lubit, and he talks about, as a memoirist put this, and this is about slavery. Bitter and cruel punishments were as nothing to the sufferings I experienced by being separated from my mother. And this is a person who experienced slavery. That means chattel. So when you're talking about systemic classifications of people and taking the human aspects out of them, that is a direct design to make us lose empathy. And we've done it.
All right. Very emotional topic. We are joined, though, by on the phone by a border reporter. Thank you so much, Tori. His name is Oscar Margain from our sister station in Dallas. Oscar, thank you for joining us. You've been in the processing center in McAllen, Texas. What was your impression of it?
Yes, well, it was my first time, even though I spent quite a few years here on the border already. And my first impressions were, wow, this is a huge warehouse. And I do see a lot of cells, chain link cells, with people inside of them. And so a lot of these folks that I did get to see were basically covering themselves with these foil-like blankets, thermal blankets. And they were just sitting down kind of like just waiting to see what was going to happen to them.
Oscar, you've been covering the border for a while now. How do you feel about what is happening right now down there?
Well, it's definitely very concerning for a lot of the folks here on the border because they hadn't seen this happen at this degree. Keep in mind, separation of families was going on before the zero-tolerance policy, but that was happening at a lesser rate. DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, would then prosecute only a certain number of illegal border crossers. And so what's happened now with zero tolerance is they increase that rate of prosecution up to over 60% at this point. And so now you're seeing families who used to not be prosecuted just for crossing the border illegally with their child, but now when before it was mostly people that already had criminal backgrounds, were affiliated with gangs,
right,
or had already crossed the border before illegally and were caught. People who in the previous administration were deemed as criminals.
Let me ask you this. Are there ways for families that are seeking asylum to enter the country where their children will not be taken from them, like a port of entry?
Yes, exactly. So that's the instruction from the Attorney General and Jeff Sessions, and also DHS Secretary Nielsen. They're saying you have to go through a port of entry on the southern border, not between the ports of entry, so that you can have your asylum request processed the legal way. That's the way that we won't separate you from your child, because you're not going to be prosecuted. And so there are also a certain portion, like I mentioned, 60% rate of the people crossing right now are being prosecuted. The 40 other percent are not necessarily. So catch and release continues. And so if you're seeking asylum the right way, or if DHS doesn't have enough resources to prosecute, to send you to the Department of Justice for prosecution, then you're going to be released into the public as part of catch and release with an ankle monitor. And so those are the ways where you won't have your child stripped away from you if you're an immigrant.
Now, Oscar, do you know if there are any measures that are being taken so that this can be communicated to the folks who need it? Because clearly their communication isn't coming as great as ours is.
If you mean, are you referring to the undocumented immigrants?
Correct.
Right. Well, it's very confusing at this point, because the messages are being mixed up at some level. When immigrants were arriving prior to zero tolerance, they were crossing the border illegally through the river or what have you, and they were turning themselves in. Once they started saying, you need to come through a port of entry and we'll process your asylum claim that way, otherwise you'll be prosecuted, people started doing that. But just 2 weeks ago, Customs and Border Protection started installing agents in the middle of the international bridges, and they were basically filtering people who had documents and didn't have documents. If you don't have documents and you're seeking asylum, then you were told to return to Mexico until they had the time and the resources to process your claim.
Wow.
And so now those people are saying, well, what should I do? Should I, go through the port of entry, or should I cross illegally because I need to get to the U.S.? And they're getting stuck in Mexico, where
Wow.
they fear for their lives.
Thank you, Oscar, for clarifying that. Really important. Oscar Margain from San Antonio, Texas. Thank you, Oscar. And here at DBL, we want to stress how you can help. We know that a lot of you feel just as helpless and hopeless as we do. An online fundraiser has gone viral, raising money to help reunite immigrant parents with their children. So far, it's raised more than $5 million. The money goes to Ray Isay's, a nonprofit group in Texas. And beyond just donating money, head to any of our social pages for information on how you can make a difference by fostering language services and calling your local representative. Wow. How much time do we have, Stu? We have to wrap this up. All right. Well, Daily Blast Live, we'll continue the conversation in the break. Daily Blast Live is continuing this national immigration debate. More of your opinions coming up. Plus, they say speed kills, but driving slowly annoys. Why one trooper's tweet is going viral. And you know Daryl DMC McDaniels from the iconic hip-hop group he founded, but do you know he's big into comics too? And you, the viewer, are our fifth host. Would you share the responsibilities of parenting with your best friend? We share your comments. That's coming up next.
Hey guys, so I wanted to give you some more info. A lot of you are asking, Tori, why are they separating children? What's going on? What's more info? A lot of real emotion. That's what we do here at DBL. We give you how we are coping with it too, because we're live. I want to show you behind me. Is this what's going on behind me? Oh, full screen. Okay, here are two circles, hopefully breaking down who is sort of for advocating for this quote-unquote zero tolerance policy. That's in green. So if you see President Trump, obviously, he's the person that said, this is what I want to do. We started enforcing this about a month ago. Zero tolerance policy. We go down the list. Kirstjen Nielsen, I need you to know her name. Say it out loud if you don't know it. Kirstjen Nielsen. She is the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. She is the top dog of Homeland Security. She has blonde hair. You've seen her on TV advocating, first saying there isn't a policy on Twitter, then saying there is a policy. Then when asked where the girls were, since we're only seeing pictures of boys, she said, I don't know where they are. So she's the one advocating, saying the Democrats are to blame, the lawmakers are to blame, this is the law. It is not the law, it is a policy being in place. Moving down the list, I want you to say out loud Jeff Sessions, just so you get this. He is the Attorney General of the United States. He has quoted the Bible as reasoning for this separation of zero tolerance policy, and he will not apologize, neither will Kirstjen, for this policy. So as of today, they refuse to apologize or to stop the policy. Moving on, we have Sarah Huckabee Sanders. If you guys don't know, she's the press secretary. You've seen her a lot with the press, and she's also advocating that this is, with the Bible as background, this is actually enforcing a law that they already have on the table. Not true, just a policy. Now, moving to the right, these are people who are trying to change it. So here's who you reach out to. Number one, all 49 Democratic senators have joined Dianne Feinstein in a bill that outlaws separating families. This was in the last 24 hours. All 49 have joined. Not one Republican has joined. However, McCain, Ted Cruz, Governor Baker of Massachusetts, who's a Democrat, Orrin Hatch, Ben Sasse, all these people who are Republicans have also come forward against it. So far, we only have Representative Mike Kaufman of Colorado saying he might join the bill. So we'll give you more info.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. This news story puts a new spin on the old saying, friends with benefits. Ashley Simpo is a Brooklyn-based writer and mom of one. She wrote an article for Huffington Post about moving in with her best friend, who is a mom of two. Now, together, they share parenting responsibilities and even split the bills. DBL Nation, would you co-parent with your best friend? Sam?
Thank you so much, Tori. I love this, but let's get right to your comments.
All right, Sam. Kimberly says, I think it's a fabulous idea. Who could support or understand your situation better than another mother who's also your best friend? I agree with this. You know, they say it takes a village, and this is like literally who closer to you in your village than your best friend. I think that's somebody you trust because you know you walk away from Lawson, you walk away from Sophie. I mean, even more than a babysitter that you got from a reputable website, you want somebody that you've ever had a chance to vet for years, and who better than your best friend?
Mm-hmm. Well, Brandy writes us, I would co-parent. You can't afford anything on your own anymore. Yeah, Brandy, I think that two-person household, two working people is always going to be a little bit better in some respects. I actually did talk about this with one of my really dear friends. She was going into single motherhood, and I was also getting divorced, and we talked about it logistically, and it ended up not working out. But it was a great idea. Like, in theory, it just, like, our jobs, it didn't work out.
All right, Thomas says, I work on minimum wage and I have to give up my one-bedroom apartment to move back in with my family. Now, Thomas, I got to tell you, don't listen to what society says. If that's what you need to do and you're working hard, it sounds to me like you're a great parent and you come from great parents yourself. So do what you have to do, Thomas. I'm telling you, things are going to get better. Don't listen to what people say about moving back in with your parents. This is the times we live in now. If you need to save a little money for your child, I think you're doing the right thing.
Completely agree. Isn't it so sad that our minimum living wage is not a living wage for many people?
Yeah.
All right, we are live. Brett Forrest with news at this moment.
Thank you, Sam. Every company is getting into the home delivery business, and now CVS Pharmacy is jumping on the bandwagon. Today, CVS is launching prescription delivery to your home nationwide at all locations. So if you need your medication and either can't get to the store or maybe you're just too busy, all you need to do is call the pharmacy or use the CVS app. It costs $4.99 and will arrive as soon as the next day. And personally, I just had to wait in the line yesterday at a pharmacy, and if I don't have to do that anymore, I'm all for it.
Amen.
No, Erica, no.
Why?
This is a bad idea.
Why?
I mean, for how long have we seen pharmacies like, listen, we have a prescription drug addiction problem in this country. Those people delivering those drugs are going to be at serious risk for being robbed. I mean, it's a real thing.
That's a good point.
I just thought it'd be nice not to have a bunch of diseases standing in line or have to go to the pharmacy when you're half dead. It's like, when else do you need some kind of aid?
Yeah, I just worry about those people dropping those off.
And speaking of CVS, stars at the MTV Movie Awards actually wore drugstore beauty products, and you can get the look for less too. Tori Schulman has that story coming in hot.
Yes, believe it or not, some of the beauty products our favorite celebs were wearing came from the drugstore. This is my favorite place to shop. First up, actress Kristen Bell. She kept her lips shiny with Vaseline Lip Therapy Balm with aloe. Guys, it's only $6 at Walmart. Next up, we have Olivia Munn's hair. She looks so pillow soft. Well, she brushed in Tresemme Unscented Dry Shampoo. It's only $5 at Target. And last but not least, Yara Shahidi. Well, she showed off some cute nails with the Essie Wild Nudes shade. The price, $9, right? So it goes to show you don't have to spend a fortune on expensive products to look your best.
Thank you so much, Tori. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone!
Hello everyone!
It's Lex. I'm here with the digital team and Tori Schulman giving you the top trending stories during the breaks.
Yeah, we
right
do.
now. As you can see, I've got the finger on the pulse with the World Cup games right now.
She's very into this World Cup?
I love the World Cup games. I really do. I wish it was as popular in the US, and maybe if we made it, it would be more popular. But anyway.
Well, our viewers agree with you. They think soccer is the coolest thing.
I love it. I played for years. I even played through college. So hit me up in our DMs and we'll chat about it in our comment section. So the cool news today is that Sunday, as you remember, Mexico upset, maybe you don't remember,
Germany, and there was an artificial earthquake from them
huge
celebrating.
upset, but it's actually showing in the TV ratings. Now, Telemundo has reported, and Dateline is telling us here, that 6.56 million viewers tuned in on 8 a.m. for that Father's Day game.
Wow.
Yeah, which is a ton of people. It is the highest watched Mexico group stage match in any language on any network.
Wow, you're right. The whole
Insane.
world seems to love soccer except for us.
Yes.
So there's something weird about that disconnect, but doing very, very, very well.
So congratulations, Mexico. Good luck.
Who won England, Tunisia?
England.
Yeah, real good sports fan here.
England won. There's a lot of games.
There are a lot of
guys.
games.
There's
There are a lot of games. She's right.
Let us know if you're watching Russia-Egypt, who you want to win. It'd be kind of cool watching Russia win in their home city.
Interesting. Let us know what you guys think. We are, ooh, I like anything with burgers. What's going on? Oh, look at this. Oh, I didn't even see that. Hello. Sorry.
This is a pretty fun story. So Thursday is actually National Selfie Day, and so to celebrate it, McDonald's...
Because we need more of those. Got it.
We do need more of those.
Right.
So to celebrate, McDonald's is giving away for free the Fryless, which is actually a way to do a mess-free selfie. So it's pretty much a stylus pen in the shape of a fry that helps you take a selfie. I assume you're self-eating a McDonald's meal.
So wait, hold on. What do you do with the pen? You draw or
so you know
take
how
it?
a stylus works on touchpads?
Yeah,
so
sure.
that you don't mess up your phone screen if your hand's covered in McDonald's or anything.
So they're trying to advocate for the pen?
They're advocating for the pen. It's shaped as a fry. They're iconic McDonald's fries. It's fun.
This is
it's
the most
National
American thing. It's a
Selfie Day.
fry that helps you take pictures of yourself.
On Thursday, you can get it for free at McDonald's.
Interesting. I'm not for this, but I do like McDonald's burgers. Let me know. 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. In the 80s and 90s, Run DMC became one of the most influential hip-hop groups of all time. Co-founder Daryl McDaniels, aka DMC, has brought that same iconic style and passion to his comic book line called Daryl Makes Comics. Alan Jeff got the chance to sit down with Daryl at Denver's Comic-Con, and today's Chatting with the Stars.
Dude, I can't believe we're here with the one and only DMC. Tell me, I'm happy we're interviewing you, but why are we at Comic-Con?
The story goes like this. Before hip-hop came over the bridge, all I did as a kid was read, collect, and draw comic books.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for comic books, I would have never had the confidence that I have in life.
I love that. I kind of look at comic books as escapism. Where were you living at the time, and where was that world taking you to?
It was an escape. I went to Catholic school. I wore glasses, and I read comic books. So my life as a kid was miserable.
Yeah, I was like, so things are going good.
When I stayed at home and got into them comic books, I saw myself in them. Even though it was a fantasy, pretend, make-believe world, and if you look at those words, make-believe, 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 make the world believe who you are. When hip-hop came over the bridge, I was like, oh, shoot, you could tell stories about who you are over music. So because of the comic books, I started writing these little raps about me just pretending to be the most powerful entity in the hip-hop universe. Thor was the son of Odin. from Asgard. He had a brother named Loki, and he had a hammer. So I'm from Hollis. I was like, I'm Daryl. I'm from Hollis. My father's name is Byford. I got a brother named Alfred, and I got a Mike. So I became son of Byford, brother of Al. Banner's my mother and runs my pal.
Are you, I mean, I wasn't expecting this motivation because I love it. I'm all about positivity.
Yeah.
Do you convey this positivity in your comic books now?
Yes. Inspire, motivate, educate, and entertain.
What is it inside of you that made you such a positive human being?
Negativity is celebrated. And the reason why I say it's celebrated, they think negativity makes you tough. So I'm growing up and I'm watching all this negativity around me get celebrated, and it's not getting us nowhere. So for me, I see a power in being good.
Let's close.
I said we end it there, man.
I just want to thank you. It's been an honor being in your presence. Thank you so much.
Just went out, man.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
All right,
Definitely.
Hey, bro.
I mean,
What a great guy.
Yeah.
That was just a snippet of, I mean, all 30 minutes that we sat down with them was incredible.
Oh my
it's going to be up on
gosh.
later today on YouTube and Facebook, the whole interview. I mean, Al.
You know, and I was able to tell him, like, being around you, somebody as positive as you, changed my life, and so did that guy. So please get a DMC comic book. Well, very cool.
It was an awesome experience.
Coming up on, well done, guys. Coming up on Daily Blast Live, a word to the wise. Don't be a slowpoke. Why this tweet is going viral. And next, how a young girl has become a violin prodigy despite being deaf. It's an incredible story of hope and resilience, something we need very much today.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey guys, so I just wanted to get more info from Jeff and Al about that Run DMC interview.
Yeah, so it's going to be up later today on Facebook.
What was some of the, you kept talking about it, I texted you guys, you were like, it was so inspirational. What was some of the stuff we're going to be seeing?
Well, one thing I was just telling Sam that like popped out in my head, like my thinking is in line with his thinking. You know what I mean? So you see what I'm trying to say
yes,
there?
Yes, you guys have an alignment on that.
Right, but I mean, he's way past me, but I'm trying to get there. But just the way he was talking about every subject, how he was creative, how he was positive through his young childhood, and especially now on politics, he said something very interesting and kind of where I stand too. He's like, if you say you're Republican, the Democrats hate you. If you're a Democrat, the Republicans are going to hate you. He's like, so you're never going to find a middle if say you're part of this team and you hate the other team. And he was just going into that about politics a little bit, and that's how I feel. I don't really like to say if I'm Democrat or Republican, because then it pushes you into one group and category, and no matter what issue that Democrats think or Republicans think, you're already categorized in that, and I don't think everything is 100%. That's why I always say when you're too far on either side, I think you're wrong.
I also think that in comic books, there aren't Republicans and Democrats. Think about that. There isn't a separation. World. It's a fantasy world. And he got away from that, which is interesting, too.
Right, yes. I think he learned a lot about who he is through comic books. Very cool. Yeah.
We'll talk more about it later. You can get more info and watch more of it on the web.
We gotta go.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. Today's Heartthreads is about the power of perseverance. Now, Autumn was born deaf, but she's not letting anything get in the way of making music. Take a look.
This deaf teenager is defying expectations and receiving recognition for her musical talent. When she was 4, Autumn Greenlee had surgery for a cochlear implant. It gave her just a faint sense of hearing, but enough to fall in love with music.
She started to do it and absolutely loved it. And so things just went from there.
Autumn plays by feeling more than hearing.
I do play a lot from vibration memory and muscle memory.
Over the years, she's gained talent and earned attention from experts and institutions, including the University of Colorado, which gave her a music scholarship.
She's very confident about what she's playing, and she's always very focused.
As she moves on to the next chapter in her life, Autumn remains confident and undaunted by whatever the future may hold.
I never really saw my hearing impairment as something that would hold me back.
Unbelievable. Thank God for Heart Threads, right? That story I needed more than ever before.
I never saw my hearing impairment as something that would hold me back. That's like you said, that's something you get tattooed on you.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
For sure.
Beautiful. And here's what's coming up next on Daily Blast Live.
Attention, slowpokes. A trooper's tweet goes viral, calling out slow drivers. You know who you are. Can money buy happiness? A new survey of Americans may surprise you. And a furry friend helped a girl when she needed it the most. What a Yorkie did that's making DBL Nation smile. Hey guys, that Heart Threads really broke through today. It was amazing to voice over on a day that's really hard. A lot of you writing in, what can I do? Tori, what can I do? Here's something you can take some action. We're gonna be having some social media links on our social media, Daily Blast Live, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. What I wanna do is give you insight on what you can do to help. So what they're looking for now are translators. Spanish to English to Spanish. They're also looking for pro bono lawyers, especially any immigration lawyers. They are asking for more of that. We're going to roll a video right after this. The last thing they're going to look for is foster parents. So please take a look at this video we're going to show on how you can get involved to get your power back. Take it away.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. Let's get started. Happening right now, politicians fighting over separating immigrant parents from their children. They can't seem to agree on what's right or even what's legal. Watch.
Parents who entered illegally are, by definition, criminals. Illegal immigrants have put their children at risk.
I'm confused. Asylum seekers are not criminals. So is it the practice to separate families for seeking asylum? If that's the practice, that's wrong. Bringing minors here illegally is a crime. Up until the zero tolerance policy, we put ankle bracelets on people and most of them didn't show up, but we didn't separate family.
I would continue the zero tolerance policy, which is if you come into our country illegally, you're committing a crime and we're going to prosecute you and send you back. And if the people coming in have children, do not separate those children.
The idea that there's a law that requires this cruel and inhumane policy is absolute fiction and falsehood.
I think it's outrageous. I think it's absolutely outrageous. It's immoral, it's unconscionable, and it needs to come to a stop.
All right, so politicians can't agree. We can't seem to agree. I would love to have a respectful discourse where hopefully we can have a solution. They do talk about asylum seekers should be different, and I know that's a little bit complicated of a situation. We just talked to our affiliate that's there on the border. But the crime, the charge is a misdemeanor. So would it change your mind if you found out that these families that are being prosecuted with misdemeanors, so that's, you can liken that to public intoxication. So if I'm after, let's say, a Super Bowl win, if I'm outside publicly intoxicated and I get that misdemeanor, should Sophie be taken away from me?
I mean,
just
if you have Sophie with you when the time you're drunk, she probably would be taken away from you. If you were drunk in public and after the Super Bowl and you had a
But
baby.
for months at a time?
No,
because,
I don't know how long.
Because
but I want to go back to what
really
you said.
quickly, though, because according to Representative Joaquin Castro of Texas, there's an 8-month-old that's been separated from his mother for over a month. For a misdemeanor.
I'm not saying that. I do want to go back really quickly, and then I want to hear from you guys. But you said we can't agree on one thing. I think everyone in that video even agrees that no one should be taken from their children.
Right.
They should not be separated. That's one thing we all agree on.
But I want to involve DBL Nation here. Some of DBL Nation feels like, or they believe that if you are going to cross that border illegally, that you are aware of those circumstances, and then that's on you, the parents. So we need to involve their take also, so we can have a proper discussion.
Right. Well, when we had the conversation with our reporter who's been on the border, not just in the past couple weeks, like he's been there, we asked him, is it being communicated effectively? And he essentially said that it isn't. So unlike just turning on the television and watching Daily Blast Live for your update, these people aren't getting the correct information or proper information in time to even make that choice. But I do think that we live in a country where even if it's a misdemeanor or a felony, different laws and different rules are applied differently to different people. And that's just the reality of the country that we live in.
Yeah, I mean, we sit here and talk about illegal and illegal and morality. I mean, what we're dealing with now, we look at these politicians, and obviously the Republicans are mostly going to come down on one side, Democrats are going to come down on the other side, but they all do seem to agree that we should keep the kids together. But these people are responsible to their constituents. They basically just lean in the ear saying, what do you guys want me to tell them when I get to Congress, when I get to Senate? And so they're hearing from the people that voted them in that they're fine with this. So we need to look at this as a country problem. The politician, that's just the figurehead on the Rolls Royce. The entire car is the people that voted them in. So we need to talk about the car and not the figurehead emblem on the front. So these are the people saying this is what they want, and we need to understand there's a large group of our country that, for whatever reason, however you feel about it, this is what they want.
Yeah, call your representatives. If you have a problem with this, for those of you that are outraged, call your representatives. We are the people, we are the constituents. We can do something about this. And today is Juneteenth, and I'm just learning about this American holiday, by the way. I'm going to be completely forthright and honest. I saw it on my calendar. I had no idea what Juneteenth was. It's the date that the announcement finally reached all slaves, even in the state of Texas, that slavery had been abolished. And get this, that was nearly 3 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation.
Right.
Erica, you knew what it was.
Yeah, again, we talk about the way communication, obviously there wasn't a television just to turn on.
There was no Twitter back then?
Exactly. January 1st, 1963 was actually when the Emancipation Proclamation was put into action. In June of 1965 is when people in Texas found out about it. Now, the reason why it was in Texas is because a lot of people, owners, slave masters.
1800s, just wanted to correct.
Sorry, 18, sorry.
I was like, my mom was alive.
I know.
Well, your great-great-grandparents were, which is not a lot of greats, just to be really honest about it.
I have a photo with all of them in the same photo, yes.
Awesome. But they brought them to Texas. 250,000 slaves were informed that the Emancipation Proclamation had been enacted. The issue was there was 40 acres and a mule. Everyone's heard about that, right? That happened in 1963. In 1965, during the Restoration era, they were told, no, we're not giving you 40 acres and a mule, and all of the property was given back to their white owners, and sharecropping happened. So when people talk about how Juneteenth and why it's not celebrated, it's because blacks were disenfranchised to a point that the celebrations just ceased. Because what they were saying were, you are free, but then they enacted all of these things to disenfranchise, including not being allowed in the political process, not being able to own land, and that was the implementation of the second migration, which of course brought a lot of blacks to the north.
So you're free, but you have no rights.
Exactly.
Right.
And what does the 19th represent? Juneteenth?
June 19th.
So just
Juneteenth.
Okay. I don't know either. I'm not getting educated.
Thank you, Erica.
That's great, yeah.
Yep. And severe and dangerous flooding is happening right now in some parts of the country. Digital producer Kelly Schuberth has the latest.
I do. Right now, the Midwest is dealing with major flooding, and we've got incredible video just into the studio of a rescue in Rockford, Illinois. Take a look. This video was shot by the Rockford Register-Star, showing Good Samaritans trying to get to a 70-year-old man who was trapped in his vehicle. They were able to break the window and pull the man out of the car and then use straps from their truck to walk the man safely along the fence. Sam?
Thank you so much, Kelly, for that heroic story. What heroes. Wow.
There's a lot of good in this.
There's a lot of good in this world.
And I was just going to say the same thing. You know, it's just, you're always going to have that battle between good versus evil. And, you know, sometimes people need to look at the good more than the evil sometimes, you know.
Although it is good to look at the evil, because then it forces us to join forces, galvanize, and hopefully advocate for what's right. Yeah.
Really agree.
All right. Have you ever gotten pulled over for driving too slow? Well, in some states, officers are enforcing slowpoke laws to keep slow drivers out of the left lane. This tweet from an Indiana state trooper is going viral, showing a car he pulled over for driving too slow in the left lane. All right, so before we chime in, DBL Nation, have you ever gotten pulled over for driving too slow? Any slow pokes here?
Well, I don't blame that guy. As soon as a state trooper rolls up behind you, you're going to slow it way down, and then you get a ticket for slowing down.
Then you look even more guilty, though.
Yeah, I know, but
true.
That's what you do, right?
Yeah, but the problem is that guy apparently has not had enough power in his life that day. So he decides to get in the left lane and slow down
Erica.
20 vehicles behind him just to extend his power over everyone. So Sergeant Wheels, was that the sergeant's name? Sergeant Wheels? Absolutely right. Get your butt out the left lane. You're clogging up traffic.
It's just as dangerous.
That's right. Yeah, it is. People trying to go around you on the wrong side, yeah.
DBL Nation, no, I'm a speed demon. Okay.
Wow, 90%.
Wow, pedal to the metal. Whoa.
I know.
All right, we've been around each other too much. Okay, traveling is all about sightseeing, and we've got a roundup of the top attraction in every country. Brett Forrest has those details coming in hot.
That's right, it's summertime, so let's talk about some travel spots. Discount and coupon code website vouchercloud.com worked with TripAdvisor to compile every country's top-rated attraction. Some of the results might surprise you. First up, let's go way down under to Australia. The top attraction is the Sydney Harbour. Not too surprising. The iconic bridge was opened in 1932 and hosts millions of visitors each year. Next, China. Any guesses? The Great Wall, of course. Stretching over 13,000 miles, the wall is definitely a must-see. And finally, back here at home, Central Park in New York City is the top attraction. I've actually been to that one. It spreads more than 800 acres, and there's plenty to do. DBL Nation, have you been to any of these sites? Drop us a comment.
I bet you've been to a couple
I've
of
been
those.
to a
All of them?
No. I've never been to Great Wall of China.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's on my
I went to the
bucket list.
Sydney last year.
Yes, Australia's great.
Yeah, they light the bridge up, and they have this whole like festival against it. And I've obviously been to Central Park, lived in New York.
Yeah. Love Central Park.
Yeah.
From a hero Yorkie, yay Yorkie, to an unexpected employee at Target. Tori, you have more trending stories.
Go Yorkies! Dogs aren't just man's best friend, they're also kids' best friend. Listen to this story. A 3-year-old Remy disappeared from her Missouri home. Police searched the farms near her home for hours until they found her the next morning with her Yorkie named Fat Heath waiting faithfully by her side the entire time. Everybody is home safe and sound now, but we hope Fat Heath got a treat for being such a good boy. And Jennifer Garner just posted this silly video on Instagram to promote her new baby food line at Target. Watch this.
Can't believe how much kids and moms love it. Maybe it's one of their co-founders. I don't know. She's supposed to be kind of rad. It's cool how you wear those khakis. Oh, I love a uniform. May I show you the way? Well, tell me where to go.
Playing all the parts herself? Can this woman get an Oscar already? Come on. Coming up on Daily Blast Live, a victim of rape is leading men in the fight against sexual violence. Their pledge still ahead. And up next, a fan favorite, Al Jackson, sounds off on the wackiest, craziest viral videos and trends he can find. Don't go away.
Hi guys. There we go. Here we go.
You back?
Yeah, I am back. Okay, so a lot of you guys are writing about immigration. I just want to give a little more background on Juneteenth. Erica did a phenomenal job about talking about it. What's so funny about people is when you put out the Emancipation Proclamation, which is of course what Abraham Lincoln did to free the slaves didn't know how to read, and there was no communication, so they kept them for yet another harvest and another harvest. The idea is to keep them going for as much as possible. June 19th was actually the date in which slaves were finally told, you have a right to be free. So that's a little bit of a sum up in case you need a water cooler moment. Juneteenth is a big day, and in a day in which we're talking about immigration and children behind cages, it's a good day to talk about celebrating freedom and what that means to the American people. A lot of people are asking me this, and I'm going to go to Sam real quick because they're saying, why don't these people come in legally? Why can't they figure this out? Sam had a great stat about the amount of time it takes to get illegally or legally from Honduras to Texas. So tell us a little bit more, and this might answer some of your questions.
I guess the average time is around a month, and that's putting it lightly. So it could take, most of the time it's going to take more than that. So if this new zero tolerance policy came into act about a month ago.
3 weeks, 4 weeks ago, yeah.
So those people that started making the trek, they had no idea about it. And the ones that are trying to go to some of those ports of entry, some of them are closed.
Some of the water has been ruined.
Some of them have been filtered into the center where there's people waiting for them. So it seems it's very complicated. It's not a black and white issue. There's a lot of different layers here. And just, a month ago, people that were seeking asylum could just enter, right? Through that port of entry that they knew that they could go through. Or if they were being if there was like a domestic violence, women were welcomed into the country. So it's really complicated.
What's interesting is Juneteenth, no one knew about the Emancipation Proclamation. Same thing here. These people don't know that there's a zero tolerance policy. We couldn't have a stronger comparison here between Juneteenth and today. So we hope that answers to some questions. Thanks, guys.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. It's time now for everyone's favorite segment, Al Sounds Off. And comedian Al Jackson goes off on the wildest stories he can find.
How you feeling, brother?
Feeling good, man.
Like you in the black, man.
Thanks, bud. I'm like some of my Johnny Cash.
There we go. That's right.
Let's do it. All right, Al. You like a good deli sandwich, right, Al?
I'm from Cleveland. I grew up in delis.
You're like me, buddy. All right, it's time to sound off on his 3-pound monster from last night's Man vs. Food. Check this out.
Eli drops a pound of corned beef and pastrami onto the first slice of bread, and the half a pound of roast beef, the half pound of roast turkey, lettuce and tomato, and the final slice of bread. This is Man vs. Manhattan!
I think we got a new 2-man crew.
Yeah, I think we just proved that men can get pregnant. Finally, a sandwich that makes you hug your kids goodbye before you go into the bathroom. And I mean, it's 4 sandwiches stacked on top of each other. That's not, unnormal. It's usually in a picnic basket, not your stomach. Let's go to the next one.
I really
and also, I need one of those sandwiches.
Yeah, I need one too, man. I need one too. All right, when it comes to father-son time, this dad doesn't want to waste any of it chasing a fly ball. Enjoy this.
All right, this is cute. I just like this kid because he's like, I'm going to buy one with my son, but I'm not going to be standing up to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's baseball and fishing. It's like combining the 2 most boring things in Mount Rushmore. All we need is shuffleboard and something else, horseshoes.
There you go.
Let's go to the last one.
All right, Al, 80 years ago, Oscar Mayer introduced the Wienermobile, and this summer, they're taking their hot dogs to new heights with the Oscar Mayer Jetpack. That's right, Al. Check it out.
Ooh.
It's our mission to get a better hot dog in every hand. So when the world calls out for a better hot dog, Oscar Mayer, taking hot dogs to new heights.
All right.
Finally, superhero giving girls his wiener. But it's good. We have a superhero that's giving people what they want.
Yeah.
Love handles. I thought that jetpack was embarrassing, but I mean, the only thing more embarrassing than that is being seen next to the Oscar Mayer wiener.
I know.
Mobile. That's ridiculous.
Who would do one of those, Al?
Not me.
Wait a second, Al.
All right.
What's that?
I'm kind of obsessed with hot dogs. Sorry, Oscar Mayer. Bring that car back.
Send us a pack.
That's
All right, everybody. That's Al Sounds Off, and this is comedian Al Jackson. We are live. Raquel Villanueva has news at the moment.
I do, Jeff. Right now, a musical based on the life of Michael Jackson is in the works. Now, this stage production is approved by the state, who just made the big announcement today. It will feature some of his biggest hits like Thriller, Beat It, and Smooth Criminal. The King of Pop's legacy will moonwalk its way to Broadway in 2020.
Ooh, thank you so much, Raquel.
I like it.
Yes, me
I'm
too.
down.
I'm down. All right, what's your favorite summer food? You might want to think twice about what you're grilling this season. Tori Schulman has that coming in hot.
Yes, Delish.com put together a list of summer foods you should never eat. Apparently, some dishes are doing more harm than good. So we put our hosts to the test. Take a look.
So what's the worst summer food for you? Barbecue sauce? Guessing that has a ton of sugar.
I'm gonna go with the corn on the cob because that's what they give to the pigs to make them fat.
They always say don't put any ketchup on your hot dog. So that's my sneaky answer. It's the hot dogs because there's ketchup on it.
Everything on this tray is bad for you.
They're all terrible for you? Even corn?
According to Delish.com, kernels can cause gum inflammation and extra plaque.
Barbecue sauce isn't good for you because 2 tablespoons of this stuff can pack nearly 100 calories. Try dry rub instead. Okay, I will.
They've recognized a direct cause and effect relationship between colorectal cancer and food and sausage casing. Can we have any joy left in life?
Yeah, that sounds terrible. Well, watermelon with seeds even made the list, because they can cause major bloating. Yum. Back to you, Sam.
Who's not bloated at a picnic? You're not doing it right.
That's why you wear the big picnic dress.
That's right, sweatpants.
Yep, coming up on DBL, an emotional interview with a woman who was forced to drop rape charges against her 4 attackers 20 years later. How she is fighting back. That's coming up next.
Hi guys, I am psychic and I can sense that Chrissy Teigen is on your...
Yeah.
Yay! What's going on, Brooke?
Well, we all love Chrissy Teigen, and she has been known to partner up with Becca, the cosmetics company.
I saw this on Instagram. She pixelated it, right?
Yes, yes. So Becca has a lot of highlighters, glitter products.
Under eye stuff, really good.
Yeah, they're a great company, and Chrissy loves them. She had a face glow palette with them earlier that sold out like crazy. I tried to get it, I didn't even get it. But yeah, she's teasing something new on her Instagram. And so I'll pull that story
Come
up
on in,
for
Chris, you can see it.
It was kind of funny. She blurred the product out, but you can see on her skin it's like gold. I guess it's no longer available now, which is weird.
Interesting.
But you know what? I did see Becca just tweeted this out, so they're announcing it. This is what she had blurred. It's Glow Body Oil, so kind of like the Fenty, I'm guessing.
I mean, like directly like the Fenty.
It's like glitter for your body, and it is kind of weird timing. That
Yeah,
it's just
summer,
coming out. Yeah.
but it's also extremely similar to the Fenty one.
But I might try it.
Yeah.
It looks good.
And if it's cheaper or, you know, whatever works better for you, but here's another option. Chrissy Teigen only puts her name on stuff that really works.
True.
So make sure you take a look at this. Yeah, interesting. All right, we're going over to we got beer.
Yes.
We got beer and tanning. I am in for the summer. What's going on?
Well, Tori, hang on to your PBR.
Oh, no.
Because a shortage is coming.
I love PBR.
Yeah, so apparently they're in a huge legal battle right now with Miller Coors because they have a contract with them that helps them brew. They use some of their establishments, and that contract is expiring soon, and they can't come to an agreement of who will help produce these billions of PBRs.
PBR no more?
No.
So if you guys don't know PBR, it's one of those beers that you get in like maybe a paper bag if you're lucky, and you like get a shot of like gasoline before it, and then you pound it, but it's like cheap beer. Okay, Brett, it's cheap beer. But it's cheap beer, am I right? I like it. No, I like the paper bag. It's like $2. And I do like it, the paper bag.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. Today we are shining the DBL spotlight on fighting back against sexual violence.
In 1998, I was drugged and brutally gang raped by 4 men.
2 of whom were football players for Oregon State University. It was her word against the college athletes. The community backlash left Brenda suicidal. Defeated, Brenda dropped the charges. Unfortunately, campus sexual assaults continue to make headlines. Today, Brenda is launching Set the Expectation, a pledge for athletes and coaches to be part of the fight against sexual violence.
Brenda Tracy joins us now. First, Brenda, I want to thank you for joining us. You know that I saw you over a year ago on the T.D. Jakes show, and it changed my life and my story. So I'm so happy to have you here today. Oh. And it's a really big day for you because your website and pledge launched today. What does the pledge promise, and what does it mean to you almost 20 years after you were raped?
Just ask coaches to stand in front of the room with their players and say that sexual assault and physical violence is never okay, and that their behavior was attached to their eligibility. So if you were going to commit a crime, then you lost the privilege to play sports. I think the biggest thing is that, you know, seeing everything that's happening now makes me feel like what I went through was not in vain.
No, and I understand that. You know, it's interesting that you would have to give incentives to people to not commit a sexual assault, but it might foreshadow your answer for why did you decide to drop the rape charges 20 years ago?
The DA told me I didn't have a good case. The DA said that it would be really hard for me to win. I would have to go through 4 separate trials. I was being called names by my community. I was receiving death threats. The backlash was horrible towards me.
I want to ask what the response has been from athletes who have learned about your story and signed the pledge.
The men and the coaches that I work with have really responded well to me. I think that most of our men want to do good. I think that they want to change these things. I think sometimes they just don't know how, and that's one of the things I do is I go out and I help men understand why this is their problem and why they need to step up.
Well, I encourage you to continue to do this work as well. What words of advice or encouragement do you have for other victims in similar situations?
So I would say, number one, you're not alone. It is not your fault. The only thing that causes sexual assault or rape is the person committing it.
Well, Brenda, I have to tell you, I will never forget the day that you were on my television in my living room and made me acknowledge my truth. So thank you so much. You have been absolutely dynamic, and you are so brave and brilliant. And I just want to thank you for fighting against sexual violence. And again, for more information and to sign the pledge, go to settheexpectation.com. Thank you, sister.
Thank you so much. I think you're amazing, and I wish you nothing but love and peace and healing and all kinds of amazing, amazing things, because you deserve every bit of it.
Wow.
Yeah, you do,
Erica. Wow. You know, it's just the craziest thing because I was at home thinking, next year I'm going to meet her on the T.D. Jakes show because I saw her on T.D. Jakes. And now she reached out to me the day after the Cosby trial, like unknowing, like didn't know any of this on Twitter. And we were in communication, and I am just so, wow, life.
Yeah, wow, powerful. What a sisterhood you two both have. Both of you, strong woman, very strong. We'll be right back.
Women.
Yeah.
We're the two-man crew, otherwise known as Chocolate, Sexy Chocolate.
That's right.
I'm Chocolate, though. He's sexy.
This is a little awkward for this interview because honestly, I was going to wear this exact same thing today. I'm glad I changed last minute.
Are you Shredder today all day?
Yep.
What a dumb question. Taco Yularaca?
Ochaco.
Oh, Ochaco.
Yularaca. It's a hard name.
I don't know. It makes me hungry.
Now, did you guys find each other on some like hawk guy, hawk girl like website? How did you guys find? Because this was meant to be.
We're dating.
Yeah, you better be.
Does this transfer over to the bedroom? No. I can see the beak. The beak gets in the way of things.
Yeah. This is our one day off, and we still managed to be on TV. I can see myself. This
it's
is
like Mr. Jones. I can see me staring right back at me.
Can we watch Daily Blast live on this thing?
I think so. Does it get NBC?
Can you give our viewers any great life advice? That's perfect. I'm going to live my life by that.
What's the first rule about Batman and Robin fighting?
don't talk about it.
That's right, that's right. How did you guys decide who Batman was going to be and who's Robin?
We had a dance off.
The proof is in the pudding, fellas. Let's see it. And you won with that?
Oh, I did.
Here at Comic-Con, everything is comical. Even the prices, $53. I think that breaks down to about $100 a cheeseburger. My math might be wrong on that. So I'm assuming.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. We have been flooded by your comments, DBL Nation, in regard to the children being separated by their families. And we're getting opinions on both sides. And I think it's tough. I was going to read comments, but I feel like no one's listening to one another, and I can even say myself included, because I believe one way. But how are we supposed to have a solution if we can't have proper discourse?
I've been reading the comments.
I was say, Jeff, I'm looking to you.
Yeah, and I've been reading the comments too and seeing, and I get what people are saying. We have a problem here with our own children, our own homeless, our own veterans. We should worry about us first. This is about humanity. This is about humanity. When you solve the problem of humanity, all these problems will be solved.
I agree, with heart.
Perfect way to put it.
And as Americans, we have heart and we have humanity. Let's not take that away from us. Thanks, guys. We'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great day.
What's going on, guys? Oh, you poor thing. Water's great. Courtney sounded like a frog over there. Are you okay? Oh my God, you've been sick forever. Anyway, we'll talk to Courtney later. The Jew in me wants to get a Robitussin and some soup and all of that stuff. A lot of you are writing in, tough show today. Totally true. Some days are light and airy, some days are super hard. Thanks for coping with us. If you are having a hard time, yeah, hi Rena. Sorry, someone's talking to me. Yeah, I can hear you. 1 second. I sure do. I sure do. Totally. I appreciate that. What I wanted to say is, too, a lot of people are saying, how do they help? I wanted to just let you guys know there is, on our social media links, Chris Patterson has done an amazing job. He made an incredible video that asks for translators, Spanish to English, English to Spanish. They're looking for those. Any immigration attorneys willing to do pro bono work, they're looking for that. And Maddie, go Maddie! I'm so sorry, I never want to leave anyone out. I'm trying to give shout outs. And also they're looking for homes for fostering these children. A lot of you said, or some of you said, they would be interested in that. I'd like you to contact, what we're going to put up as social media links. We have certain links you can go to, but if you're interested in either translating from Spanish to English, English to Spanish, if you're an attorney or you know any immigration attorneys, or if you are also interested in fostering, that is a much more humane way to handle this situation. So we'll be posting it. Check out Daily Blast Live. We'll be soon. See you soon. Today on Daily Blast Live, the heartbreaking sound of kids separated from their parents.
No, Papa.
DBL is asking, what can be done? A harrowing rescue caught on camera, the latest on flooding in the Midwest. Plus, hip-hop pioneer Daryl DMC McDaniels sits down with Jeff and Al.
These comic books, even though it was a fantasy, pretend, make-believe world, it wasn't fake to me.
How he's turned his love of comics into a new venture. And the answer to the age-old question, can money buy happiness? Daily Blast Live starts right now.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Tuesday, June 19th, and we are a live show talking about what you're talking about, and we have a lot to talk about, so let's get right to it. Right now, outrage is growing over an audio recording that appears to show the cries of Spanish-speaking children who've been separated from their parents, and a warning to our viewers, this may be upsetting to some.
No,
You know, just me hearing that makes me think of my own son, and I know we have immigration problems here, and I know America's divided on this one, but I mean, hearing those cries, this isn't an immigration problem to me, it's a humanity problem to me. And just hearing those cries makes me feel a different way, and I'm the one saying that we have an immigration problem here.
It's a great point. Just when you, sometimes what Erica said in the meeting, you don't see but you hear, it almost touches you right to that heart even more. It was hard for me to hear that. I think everyone almost walked out of the room, or you almost don't want to hear it, but you have to hear it. You have to hear it because it's the truth.
You know, I think that sometimes we talk about these issues and it becomes very aesthetic, but this morning I was in the middle of doing my morning routine and I heard it, and it just brought me to like times where I've been in public situations where there's a lot going on and there's this child who has lost their mom, and all you want to do is just make sure that you can get them back to their parent. And I think that most people have that reaction, but something, when we politicize a human issue, it becomes a way to extract the empathy from it. And that's the reason why we're able to have a back and forth with something that, in my opinion, there just aren't two sides to.
Yeah, using them as leverage or pawns, if you will, is a way to take the empathy out. You're absolutely right.
You know what? This is I've been thinking about this even since we did the first hour, and I thought about 1968. 1968, RFK was killed. Martin Luther King was killed. We were in the middle of civil rights. We were at war, and this country was almost torn apart. But we decided, after we saw the images on TV of dead civil rights leaders, of hoses being turned on people, dogs being attacked, of dead soldiers across the sea, we decided that this was not us. And from that year, which if somebody had told you that year this country would continue on, I'm sure you would have thought they were wrong. We can come back from this, but we have to find, like you said, Jeff, a humanity, a bipartisan humanity, where you say, I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. When you hear a child calling for their mom, I was with my son 2 weeks ago at David Buster's. He was 4 years old, and I lost him for about 15 seconds, and I keep thinking about it.
Yeah.
I could not find him. And to know that people are going weeks and months without knowing where their child is, getting a piece of paper saying, here are the 3 steps to get your kids back, it blows my mind, and it needs to be addressed, and we need to fix this. We don't need to talk about it. We don't need to banter on Twitter. We don't need to call names on Facebook. We need to fix this. History will judge us from today on. So that's the burden we all need to walk away with.
I love that, Al.
Yeah, I
Thank
love
you,
that,
man. Hey, Tori, we have supporters of the zero tolerance policy. What are they saying?
Yeah, it's not just one way. We do want to give a voice to anyone who just disagrees. Bonnie Torrance on Facebook writes, quote, don't come into the country illegally and you won't have your child ripped out of your arms. They are illegals. I'm going to keep reading. MD on Twitter says, quote,
I would say they are people, but you can call them illegals if you want, Bonnie.
Thank you. MD on Twitter says, American children are forced from their parents every day, and I don't see that on the news. And finally, Deborah Faulkner on Facebook writes, don't let a bunch of children mask the problem that should have been taken care of years ago. Congress dropped the ball, and now they want to put the blame on Trump.
I just want to talk about the American citizens part, because I was very bothered by the idea that you would have families and you would take the children away from the parents, because we do have a problem with parents and children being separated. I work for an organization called CASA, which is Court Appointed Special Advocates for Children, and the biggest thing that you want to do is reunite the parent and the child. That is always the goal. So the idea that we're out here just making orphans as if we don't have enough children who aren't being advocated for just seems nonsensical to me.
And also, I just want to let people know that, like they say, that the most traumatic point in your life is almost pre-verbal. So when you're a young child that can't even speak, that can't advocate for themselves, and you're taken away from your mom or your dad, that's when the most damage can be done. So we need to keep that in mind every day that goes by.
And we have more on this very topic with digital producer Kelly Schubert with the breaking news fast blast. Kelly.
Yeah, we've got breaking news just into Daily Blast Live. Republicans are on Capitol Hill right now working to figure out a solution to children being taken from their parents at the border. GOP leaders are revising their legislation and are now focusing on a new plan that will keep children detained longer than permitted, but with their parents. The president plans to meet with leaders this evening on Capitol Hill. I'll, of course, keep you updated.
And really quick, I just want to point out, Senator Dianne Feinstein of the Senate has put out a bill outlawing separation. All 49 Democratic senators have signed on. Guess how many Republicans? Not one. I'm not trying to put this on anyone. I'm just trying to say there are bills that Congress is trying to do to bail us out of the situation. If you don't sign up, it's hard to take action. Call your representatives.
All right, well, here at DBL, we want to stress how you guys could help. An online fundraiser has gone viral, raising money to help reunite immigrant parents with their children. So far, it's raised more than $5 million. The money goes to Raices, a nonprofit group in Texas. Beyond just donating money, head to any of our social pages for information on how you can make a difference by fostering language service and calling your local representative, like Tori just said. And I do want to point out, because, you know, it's no secret that we do a show before this, and I did see that a lot of people wrote, and we have our own problems in this country with our homeless, with our children. You know, the list goes on and on. And I said last show, this is a humanity problem. I get the immigration thing, and I'm on your side with the immigration thing. These are about children being taken from their parents. And if you don't want to donate, you don't have to. But the number's up there if you do want to help humanity. The number's up there for you.
And Jeff, I just want to say really quickly, there are also 2 other organizations that you can donate where the money goes directly: the ACLU and also KIND. That's in all capital KIND. I have a friend that's directly connected with them. They say 100% of the proceeds go to who you want it to go to. So I'll be making donations to both those organizations during the break.
And a lot of people are writing in that these children are illegal. They are not illegal. They are children that have come in here. They are refugees. They did not want to come in here. They didn't have the choice. Do not punish them or use them as pawns, and call yourself a human.
And I feel like this, I just have a feeling this is going to be wrapped up quickly. I feel like they're going to come to a solution tonight, hopefully on Capitol Hill, and do something about this. All right.
We will keep you posted.
We will keep you posted, guys. We are a live show and obviously have a lot of emotion about this.
Yeah, and we're just coping just like you guys.
All right. We need a couple feel-good stories right now. Am I right? Because we have to talk about the MTV Movie Awards, because Tiffany Haddish, she killed it. She hosted the show, and her comedic talent took center stage. And, of course, she also rocked her $4,000 Alexander McQueen dress for the 4th time. Check out her roasting the Kardashians.
I'm always excited to see the Kardashians. That family is basically the Star Wars franchise, okay? They make a ton of money. A new one's always popping up. And they're ruled by a bossy overlord who sleeps in a mask, and she loves black men, so yeah. I need all the work in the world so I don't get in no trouble, because I'm trying to get in trouble.
And one of the big winners was Chadwick Boseman, who got the Best Hero Award, but did something unexpected with it. Take a look.
Receiving an award for playing a superhero is amazing, but it's even greater to acknowledge the heroes that we have in real life. I just want to acknowledge somebody that's here today, James Shaw Jr. This is going to live at your house. It's going to live at your house. God bless you.
And in case you didn't know who James Shaw Jr. was, that was the man who single-handedly stopped a shooter at a Tennessee Waffle House in April.
And was shot himself.
Yeah, and didn't get the recognition I think he deserved, but he did there.
Absolutely. And when we talk about entertainment not going into politics, this is somewhat, I know this isn't political, but this is a moment which I'm glad Chadwick Boseman used his policy and his platform, because he was not invited to the White House. He was tweeted about, but he deserved much more recognition for that.
Here's the thing, well, I'm going to agree with you here. He did it in a positive manner.
Absolutely.
He didn't put anybody down. He didn't say he deserves this. He gave him that award 100%. On his own. That's what I like to see at award shows.
There you go.
I don't need putting down of anybody.
I hear that.
All right, Daily Blast Live is diving into the national immigration debate. More of young opinions coming up. There's a lot of them, trust me. Plus, they say speed kills, but driving slowly annoys. Why one trooper tweet is going viral. And you know Daryl DMC Daniels from the iconic hip-hop group Run DMC he founded, but did you know he's big into comics too? And you, the viewer, are the 5th host. How would you feel if the water from your sink was recycled toilet water? One Florida man may be making the switch. Your comments coming up next.
Guys, I'm going to hold this up. It'll be full screen, but I just want to hold this up. I want to give you some information, because what do I say about knowledge? It's
power.
Thank you. I'm glad he knows
Did you
that.
watch?
I was like,
Party
is
Two?
this a trick?
Is this a trick?
Remember that?
So on the left is green. These are people that if you are for the zero tolerance policy, you probably want to be following. I'm not giving my opinion here. This is some information. President Trump, we already know. I want you to say this name so you know it. Kirstjen Nielsen. She is the U.S. Homeland Security head. She's the blonde woman you've seen say, I will not apologize for this. So if you're for that, you're probably in favor of Kirstjen Nielsen. I want you to know that name to sound informed. Right underneath this is Jeff Sessions. He's the Attorney General of the United States. He quoted the Bible in supporting this, and also has said no apology at all. He believes completely in this zero tolerance policy. And finally, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, as you well know, she's the press secretary, is still advocating for this, making biblical references for enforcing the law. So if you are for this zero tolerance policy and separating children from mothers and fathers, I'm not going to say anything, this is who you should be looking at. If you are against it, take a look at this red circle that we made
Or
over
if you're
here.
against separation of church and state.
Correct.
Why
So,
get into facts?
Very nice. Senator Dianne Feinstein has stopped the separation bill. 49, all of them Democratic, have signed on. One Republican named Mike Kaufman from our state of Colorado has signed on as a possibility to take it to the House. No Republicans yet have signed on. However, John McCain, Ted Cruz from Arizona, Ted Cruz from Texas, Ben Sasse from Nebraska, Orrin Hatch from Utah, all Republicans, Lindsey Graham as well, come forward to the press and said very much they are absolutely against this. Ted Cruz has also supported a bill he's just proposed into the Senate helping increase immigration judges so these get through sooner. If you're against separating children from their parents, these are the people you should be following. Also, the First Lady group, the Laura Bushes, Rosalind Carter came out again, of course, Jimmy Carter's wife. We have Michelle Obama and, of course, Hillary Clinton, who spoke yesterday. And the head of the United Nations Human Rights Council has just come out against it. And we just separated ourselves today, this morning. The U.S. has pulled out of the Human Rights Commission. We'll talk more about it later.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. If the tap water from your sink came out clean every time, would it matter where it came from? That's the debate happening right now in Tampa, Florida. The city is considering boosting its drinking water supply with treated wastewater. That's right. That's water from your toilet. Scientists say it's safe, but DBL Nation, would you try it? Let's get straight to your comments, Erica. Why don't you kick it off?
Bartolita writes, no thank you. Safe or not, it's just a mental thing. I agree. I mean, just think about it, when you eat anything or consume anything and then you find out that it's from like a shady place.
Or
you're
compost.
Like, all of a sudden, no matter how good it was before, 7 seconds ago, it's no longer good in my mind.
That's a good point. Well, Thomas says, I'm okay with treated water if the science backs it up. I'm with Thomas here because 20 years ago, a scientist said it absolutely was not safe. That same scientist is saying now there has been scientific movement and it is safe. However, as opposed to Flint, Michigan, which has lead in their water, I'd take toilet water. If it's clean, I'll take it because we still don't have clean water for people in Michigan.
Yeah, it's sad. Let's fix it. Let's get Flint together.
Yeah.
Ellis writes in, I wouldn't, and I live in the Tampa Bay area. Give me bottled water, especially during hurricane season. Ellis, I've spent a ton of time in Tampa. Lived in South Florida for almost 10 years, and I know how that is. And like, I'm on board. It's like, look, I can't. Just mentally, I know it's silly. As somebody with a degree in biology, I just picture
It's icky.
I just picture it flushing and going right into a bottled water. I can't do it. I'm sorry, the mental image. I know they say they treated it. But what if you get a message saying, hey, our treatment plan's been broke for 2 weeks, and you're like, I've been drinking water every day. I don't know.
I was on the other side. Now you just took me the other one.
I'm all for the environment. I'm just like anywhere but the toilet. I don't even let my dog drink out of it.
There you go. We are live. Brett Forrest with news at the moment.
Yeah, that's going to be a no from me, guys. Anyway, every company is getting into the home delivery business, and now CVS Pharmacy is jumping on the bandwagon. Today, CVS is launching prescription delivery to your home nationwide at all locations. So if you need your medication and either can't get to the store or maybe you're just too busy, All you need to do is call the pharmacy or use the CVS app. It costs $4.99 and will arrive as soon as the next day. I was happy to hear about this because I don't like waiting in lines, but Al Jackson, you brought up a good point last hour if you want to touch on that again.
Thanks, Brad. I'm glad you let me into that. I was saying I was worried about the people delivering these pills because there is an addiction issue, especially with pharmaceuticals in our country, and I was worried about the safety of the driver. But CVS has said that they will not be sending out any hardcore narcotics. It's just going to be, you know, stuff for the flu, stuff for your allergies.
No opioids or anything like that.
No opioids. So, yes, so stay away from those drivers. They have nothing.
And I think it's a great idea, CVS.
Yes, it's a good idea.
Less germs in the store, and you can stay on your deathbed if that's where you feel like it.
Been there before, yes.
And speaking of CVS, stars at the MTV Movie Awards actually wore drugstore beauty products, and you could get the look for less too. Erica, you have that story coming in hot.
That's right. Believe it or not, some of the beauty products our favorite celebs were wearing came from the drugstore. First up, actress Kristen Bell. She kept her lips shiny with Vaseline Lip Therapy Balm with aloe. It's only $6 at Walmart. Next up, our girl Olivia Munn. Her hair looked pillow soft by brushing in Tresemme unscented dry shampoo. It's only $5 at Target. And last but not least, Yara Shahidi, that's my girl. Yeah. She's really my girl. Okay, she showed off some cute nails with the Essie Wild Nude shade. The price only $9. So it just goes to show you don't have to spend a fortune on expensive products to look your best.
What other prices do we have on what they had on? That was $9.
So Yara, my mother was actually her mother's college professor.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
She's from Blackish, if you guys.
All right, coming up on Daily Blast Live, actress Jennifer Gardner, the newest Target employee. What? And Al and I sit down with the legendary hip-hop pioneer Daryl DMC McDaniels at Denver's Comic-Con. Bet you didn't know he was such a comic book fanatic. Huh? Anybody?
I know now.
BH Brady 1 brings up such a good point. Thank you guys for hearing me. Melania Trump should have absolutely been on that First Lady situation. She has come out against the separation of families, so nice calling me out, and I wanted to address it immediately. BH Brady, you're always on my toes, and I so appreciate it. Eagle eyes. Thank you very much. Rosalind Carter, Laura Bush, Michelle Obama, Hillary Clinton, and of course, Melania Trump. So BH Brady, big props to you. Thanks, and I apologize for that. We're moving over to some, oh no.
I know.
Wait, this is sad news about Game of Thrones.
I know. As everyone knows, we're wrapping up Game of Thrones. The next season will be out in 2019.
Look how sad she is.
This breaks my heart. It's okay. Leo, let's roll the picture.
Oh man.
Amelia Clark is saying goodbye.
Khaleesi, forever.
AKA Daenerys Stormborn of the House of Targaryen, first of her name, the Unburnt, Queen of the Andales, and the First Men, Khaleesi of the Great Sea, Breaker of Chains, the Mother of Dragons. She's hopped on a boat. She's back in Ireland.
So her last scene has been filmed.
Yep, we're assuming that they've officially finished filming.
Oh, I so hope she gets with Jon Snow. I so hope things continue. It's a very emotional day.
But there are also rumors. There are rumors that there will be a prequel of Game of Thrones. They're not really sure yet. It is in the works.
Okay.
They're writing it. They're trying to figure out what angle they want to go to. So there is a little bit to look forward to.
Okay.
But yeah, as we know,
hope.
Yeah, there's some hope.
There's some hope. So guys, let us know your favorite Game of Thrones character. Who's yours? Khaleesi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like Jon Snow. He's dreamy. Okay, moving on. We have Kelly Grega.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to just really quickly, if this is about Alexa,
It is.
the HomePod? No, Alexa, Amazon. Sorry, go ahead.
So, yeah, we're shifting gears a little bit. Today, Amazon announced Alexa for Hospitality.
Oh,
So it's an
interesting.
Alexa pod that will be placed in hotel rooms, vacation stays, you think Airbnb, and it has more features that are tended towards new tenants coming in
that's
often.
cool.
So it's not really voice registered. You know how Alexa registers your own voice
Hey,
as an
Alexa.
owner?
Yeah.
It's going to be more just by command, so you can order room service, you can order the maids up.
Because it's hard to just pick up that phone.
That's
what
what
makes it
so
so
hard.
difficult.
That's what the commentary is against it. They're saying, we're getting too lazy with these devices. So, Devo Nation, let us know your thoughts on this.
Also, where's Alexa? We have an Alexa here. She hates this thing.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. In the 80s and 90s, Run DMC became one of the most influential hip-hop groups of all time. Co-founder Daryl McDaniels, a.k.a. DMC, has brought that same iconic style and passion to his comic book line called Daryl Makes Comics. Alan Jeff got the chance to sit down with Daryl at Denver's Comic-Con, and today's Chatting with the Stars.
Dude, I can't believe we're here with the one and only DMC. Tell me, I'm happy we're interviewing you, but why are we at Comic-Con?
The story goes like this. Before hip-hop came over the bridge, all I did as a kid was read, collect, and draw comic books. Yeah. If it wasn't for comic books, I would have never had the confidence that I have in life.
I love that. I kind of look at comic books as escapism. Where were you living at the time, and where was that world taking you to?
It was an escape. I went to Catholic school. I wore glasses, and I read comic books. So my life as a kid was miserable.
Yeah, I was like, so things are going good.
When I stayed at home and got into them comic books, I saw myself in them. Even though it was a fantasy, pretend, make-believe world, and if you look at those words, make-believe, 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 make the world believe who you are. When hip-hop came over the bridge, I was like, oh, shoot, you could tell stories about who you are over music. So because of the comic books, I started writing these little raps about me just pretending to be the most powerful entity in the hip-hop universe. Thor was the son of Odin from Asgard. He had a brother named Loki, and he had a hammer. So I'm from Hollis. I was like, I'm Daryl. I'm from Hollis. My father's name is Byford. I got a brother named Alfred, and I got a Mike. So I became son of Byford, brother of Al. Banner's my mother and runs my pal.
Are you, I mean, I wasn't expecting this motivation because I love it. I'm all about positivity.
Yeah.
Do you convey this positivity in your comic books now?
Yes. Inspire, motivate, educate, and entertain.
What is it inside of you that made you such a positive human being?
Negativity is celebrated. And the reason why I say it's celebrated, they think negativity makes you tough. So I'm growing up and I'm watching all this negativity around me get celebrated, and it's not getting us nowhere. So for me, I see a power in being good.
Let's close.
I said we ended there, man.
I just want to thank you. It's been an honor being your presence. Thank you so much.
Just went out, man.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Thank you, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right,
Definitely.
Hey, bro.
I mean, man.
Wow.
That was the tip of the iceberg.
That's incredible. That is amazing.
The whole thing's going to be on YouTube and Facebook later on, the whole interview, because it's that, a half hour. It's that great.
Were you so surprised at how positive he was?
The first 5 minutes.
It was, yeah, he really is that. And I mean, for a person that's had such an incredible life and overcome so much, for him to still be that positive, none of us had an excuse.
Absolutely.
Good
Coming
job,
up
you
on
guys.
Daily Blast Live. Thank you.
Yeah.
A word to the wise, don't be a slowpoke. While this tweet is going viral, and next, how a young girl has become a violin prodigy despite being deaf. It's an incredible story of hope and resilience.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Get some more info
rapped
on
another time too.
Run
Where you
DMC.
got it from?
What was some of your favorite moments from that you can watch, you guys, on YouTube and Facebook, the whole interview?
Well, besides what you saw, he did a rap where he got the rhymes again, like you were saying. So he did the rhymes of how he came up with those rhymes. And just, I don't know if you guys know a lot about DMC. You know, he has a book of, he has another book out because I was doing my background of 10 ways not to kill yourself.
Wow.
So it's very, like, he
That's a
he
title and
he
a
battled
half.
depression, he battled, I believe, alcoholism.
Yeah,
right?
well, he had incredible, I don't know if that's the right adjective. He like the worst kind of alcoholism. I remember watching it behind the music on them, like
The
12
VH1
years,
behind the
like 12, 13 years ago, and he was like, I would drink a case of 40s before I went on stage. I don't think people understand, and being an entertainer, and Tori's been on stage, like a lot of your favorite entertainers have incredible stage fright. And the things that they have to do to get on there, drinking, drugs, you'd be amazed just to get over like that intense. I mean, you talk to people what above the fear of dying is public speaking.
in public.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, he's a human being too. So he overcame alcoholism. You know, he talks openly about being adopted. He came from a rough part of the country.
And how does he work out? Is there yoga or what?
He's in his 50s.
He looks amazing.
He's huge. His attitude's like,
I was like, does anyone have a robe I can put on?
yeah. He's just a
You're
great
like, oh,
guy.
shit.
He didn't have any handlers there with him.
No one.
I thought people were like, one lady just worked there. I'm like, oh man, Daryl's such a great guy. She goes, I know when he came in. I'm like, oh, you don't work for him? I was like, I thought you
he didn't have
trying to get out of there early.
posse.
Yeah, it was just him.
And then meanwhile, you watch some kid that was on Real World 63. His Twitter handle is @TheReal Brian Fabian or something. It's like
to any Brian Fabian out there,
Fabian's like, what did I do?
I did nothing. There's a crew of like 30 rolling deep.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. Today's Heart Threads is about the power of perseverance. Now, Autumn was born deaf, but she's not letting anything get in the way of making music. Take a look.
This deaf teenager is defying expectations and receiving recognition for her musical talent. When she was 4, Autumn Greenlee had surgery for a cochlear implant. It gave her just a faint sense of hearing, but enough to fall in love with music.
She started to do it and absolutely loved it. And so things just went from there.
Autumn plays by feeling more than hearing.
I do play a lot from vibration memory and muscle memory.
Over the years, she's gained talent and earned attention from experts and institutions, including the University of Colorado, which gave her a music scholarship.
She's very confident about what she's playing, and she's always very focused.
As she moves on to the next chapter in her life, Autumn remains confident and undaunted by whatever the future may hold.
I never really saw my hearing impairment as something that would hold me back.
That's amazing.
We needed that today. So I did the voiceover, I did a little research. She has a cochlear implant, which means she can hear a little of the music, but she goes based on vibrations of her ear. She feels music, and she also has muscle memory. But when you feel music, you're somewhat closer to the music in a way. It's almost like you're a better musician in some respects because you're in it. So bravo, that we just needed that story.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. If you're leaving us right now, you can watch us on Facebook and YouTube. Here's what's coming up on DBL.
Attention, slowpokes. A trooper's tweet goes viral, calling out slow drivers. You know who you are. Can money buy happiness? A new survey of Americans may surprise you. And a furry friend helped a girl when she needed it the most. What a Yorkie did that's making DBL Nation smile.
I mean,
And is it
I was looking at that last story with the magician, and I just, we've done stories. There was one with the catcher that only had one hand. My thing in life is just keep telling people what they're not about to do, and then watch them do it. I mean, that girl was so inspiring to me. And just so inspiring, it should be inspiring to everybody. When you start telling people what they can't do, that's when they start working extra hard. I think if you look at one of the biggest pitfalls in life, it's entitlement. It's thinking that you have the right last name, you have the right pedigree, you're from the right class, that you're entitled to certain things, and you don't work as hard. And you know what's happening when you're slacking off? There's somebody that's deaf. There's somebody with one hand. There's somebody that can't see. When I played in high school, there was a guy, I'm from Cleveland, there was a guy at a high school called Cuyahoga Heights High School that he had 2 arms and one of his, he had a palsied hand and I'm trying to think of in a rigid arm, so it almost kind of did like. Are we talking John McCain? No, I'm talking about a kid I played against in high school.
Oh wow!
And he started in football, and he started for their basketball team, and he was really good. He was super quick. He would tuck the ball in there, and
Isn't that incredible?
How
about the catcher who had one hand?
That's what I was just talking about.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, I was telling everybody at home, I was like, keep telling people what they're not about to do.
Exactly.
Please do me that favor.
Please do that.
That's the best thing you can do for somebody. Tell them what they're not going to do. Thanks, guys.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. Let's get right into it, guys. Happening right now, politicians fighting over separating immigrant parents from their children. They can't seem to agree on what's right or even legal. Watch this.
Parents who entered illegally are, by definition, criminals. Illegal immigrants have put their children at risk.
I'm confused. Asylum seekers are not criminals. So is it the practice to separate families for seeking asylum? If that's the practice, that's wrong. Bringing minors here illegally is a crime. Up until the zero tolerance policy, we put ankle bracelets on people and most of them didn't show up, but we didn't separate family.
I would continue the zero tolerance policy, which is if you come into our country illegally, you're committing a crime and we're going to prosecute you and send you back. And if the people coming in have children, do not separate those children.
The idea that there's a law that requires this cruel and inhumane policy is absolute fiction and falsehood.
I think it's outrageous. I think it's absolutely outrageous. It's immoral, it's unconscionable, and it needs to come to a stop.
And we saw people on both sides, no matter where you stand, saying they all came together and agreed that you should not separate a child from his mother or father.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say Kamala Harris and certain people have gone forward and asking for Kirstjen Nielsen's resignation. She is, of course, the United States Director of Homeland Security. And then Sarah Huckabee Sanders. There's a lot of people that are asking for their resignation because we've heard lies before this and now we don't know the truth. One important thing I just want us all to remember is we're seeing a lot of boys in photographs in these detention centers. A question was brought up by Kristen Welker. Where are the girls? We have yet to see a detention center picture sent out by Department of Homeland Security showing us girls.
Well,
now,
I don't know if I would get into that.
Well, it was
you know
asked.
what I mean?
Well, it was asked, and she answered. Kirstjen Nielsen answered, and she said she didn't know, and that she would look into it. So I just want us to all be clear. There's even more problems going on.
No, allegedly.
She answered that today.
No, it's not alleged. And the thing is, it is significant that we bring that up because we just found out that a border patrol agency or a border patrol officer was arrested for the sexual assault of a 4-year-old girl. So I think that it is important that we're having these conversations because hashtag Where Are Our Girls is dynamic because we need to make sure that we're protecting young girls, but we have to protect all the children.
Yeah, and that's what I want to. That's what I thought we were talking about, and I don't want people to drift no matter what side you're on, because when you drift like
I'm not drifting.
and that's a serious accusation.
Hey, it was brought to the head of the Homeland, and she said she did not know live.
Okay,
I do not know where the girls are.
that's a very serious accusation, and that's what drifts people completely to one side, Democratic or Republican, and that's why there's no discourse in between.
I get
this
you, but
is about children being stripped from their parents.
But Jeff, this is the truth. I'm not trying to advocate and going outside and exaggerating. She literally said, I don't know where the girls are. I'm not lying.
I didn't say you were lying. I just said that's a big accusation. Let's talk to somebody that's been down there, okay? Because joining us right now is Antar Davidson. Antar, you were an employee at an Arizona Immigrant Children's Center, and you quit. Why?
Essentially, I quit basically for a dual reason. One was a very corrupt payment structure in which the executive board of Southwest Key was making an exorbitant amount of money. Between the CEO and his wife, they make about $1.5 million in federal tax dollars a year. And on top of that, the facilities, the direction the facility has taken in terms of dealing with the increased trauma of these kids coming from the zero tolerance policy was abhorrent morally. And so I felt that despite the good I was doing there, I couldn't continue to do that good and not expect to be told to do things which were immoral by generally all human standards, as has been the case from all the various news reports and people that I've spoken to all over the world at this point.
Antar, thanks for asking. Sorry, how did things change at your shelter in recent weeks and months? When did you, what has changed in the past?
Well, first of all, the original, when I first started, before the enforcement of this policy, I don't want to say the laws were changed. That's where people get muddled. As an employee at this facility, prior to the enforcement of this policy, the kids who had arrived, and it was already a pre-established immigration route that was proving very profitable. So before zero tolerance, this program was not good. This was still a bad program. A bad immigration situation is not the president's fault. It's the fault of a lot of presidents. The zero tolerance policy is, however. Wow. So before, what had been established is a migratory pattern where kids would pay a guide, as a nice kind of way of saying it, would pay, and they would be transported to the border. They were instructed kind of what to do. They had a sponsor. The majority of kids had a sponsor. They knew that this is all I should add. This should be disturbing to people as well, because this was a facility that was receiving kids who had paid to get there and are briefed on what's going to happen. So they knew that they would be in the facility. They knew they'd be there a few months. They'd learn. They'd be okay. And then they'd be reunified and placed into a school. Now, those kids, because they knew what was happening, were quite compliant. They were, normal, for the most part, normal rambunctiousness of teenagers, but nothing no serious trauma. These kids made the journey knowingly by themselves and were ultimately being reunified. So they knew the drill. Over the past 6 weeks, however, we saw an increasing amount of small children. The tender age kids went from the number in the facility went from about 5 to about 70 over the course of this week. And so instead of older kids who had made this journey by themselves and knew what they were getting into, the facility began to be filled with increasingly younger minors who with increasingly larger levels of trauma and the subsequent behavioral issues that surround that.
Now, we want to get one more question in. Al, do you want to?
Sure. How do you think things can change, and what would you like to see as just the first step?
The first step, actually, I'm fortunate to be pushing for the first step. I'm a volunteer field director for State Representative Pam Powers-Hanley here in Arizona. She's the ranking Democrat on the state health board in the House of Representatives here. So initially, we're pushing for transparency. She has already called for, along with Representative Dr. Randy Freese, they've called for, as with her authority in the health department, she's called for inspections of the facility. And we're pushing for oversight here. When things happen clandestinely, as this operation is ran, that's when problems can be had. So what we're doing now is trying to pull this place out of the shadows and make it much more difficult for the organization to put out statements saying things are fine, and for the administration trying to say that things are fine or it's a summer camp. It was said recently that this was a summer camp. Wow, what kind of summer camps did you go to growing up? That's disturbing.
Absolutely. Antar, thank you so much for taking the time and talking to us and giving us that inside information.
Keep voicing that opinion.
Of course, most definitely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Antar. Wow.
That was incredible.
It was.
Because it's firsthand account. Instead of us just talking out here about our hearts and our feelings, this guy was there. He's seen a huge change from 6 weeks ago. The amount of children, the age of the children has lowered. It's incredible. So we appreciate that, Antar.
Yeah, thank you. All right, severe and dangerous flooding is happening right now in some parts of the country. Digital producer Kelly Schubert has the latest.
Yeah, right now the Midwest is dealing with major flooding, and we've got incredible video just into the studio of a rescue in Rockford, Illinois. Take a look. This video was shot by the Rockford Register-Star, and it shows Good Samaritans trying to get to a 70-year-old man trapped in his vehicle. They were able to break the window and pull the man out of the car, and then use straps from their truck to walk the man safely along the fence. Jeff?
Thank you. Well, that's great. They're dealing with disaster down there as well, but a good thing comes from it, and that's what I think we need to focus on, is that there is good in this world. I know there's bad, and there's always going to be that battle, but there is good in this world, and thank you for that story, Kelly. We needed that. Now we're going to talk about a hero Yorkie as well. Because from a hero Yorkie to an unexpected...
I was worried we weren't going to get to this story.
At Target. Tori, you have more on this story.
I sure do. Well, dogs aren't just man's best friend. They're also kids' best friend. This story is crazy. 3-year-old Remy disappeared from her Missouri home. Police searched the farms near her home for hours until they found her the next morning with her Yorkie named Fat Heath, waiting faithfully by her side the entire time. Everyone now is home safe and sound, but we hope that Fat Heath got a big treat for being such a good boy. And photographer Sophie Gammond is changing the way we see pit bulls with these gorgeous pics of the breed wearing flower crowns. She'd always been afraid of pitties and wanted to confront her fear. Good job. And in the process, she learned how sweet and gentle they really are. And Jennifer Garner just posted this silly video on Instagram to promote her new baby food line at Target. Take a look.
Can't believe how much kids and moms love it. Maybe it's one of their co-founders. I don't know. She's supposed to be kind of rad. It's cool how you wear those khakis. Oh, I love a uniform. May I show you the way? Well, tell me where to go.
Playing all the parts herself, get this woman an Oscar already. Finally, coming up on Daily Blast Live, the victim of a rape is leading men in the fight against sexual violence. Their pledge still ahead. And up next, a fan favorite, Al Jackson, sounds off on the wackiest, craziest viral videos and trends he can find. Don't go away.
I like her
I'm a little
lot.
concerned for Jennifer Garner. Here's why. A lot of home videos, a
Which
little
is great.
bored, fine, but it's
Now going into this public targets
and going just doing like shooting on an iPhone. You could get a camera crew, I feel like, or maybe I don't know. I
What
get
I
that
thought
it was
was
amateur.
charming at first,
It's
now
maybe
seems like a
sad.
cry for help.
It's a little bit.
What do you guys think? Are we in the wrong?
Yeah.
We love Jennifer
We
Garner.
do.
We're kidding. We love you.
We think you're
but
amazing.
that's a lot.
It was a lot of home videos of
A lot
her
of time.
back and forth
Costume
and
changes.
cutting,
Is there an
editing.
employee from Target locked in the
How did
dressing
she
room
get
naked?
that outfit?
That's what I want to know.
How did she get that? Yeah, someone's like, Jennifer Garner, let me know. We do hope she does well with her baby food line, but, you know, made me a little worried for
Although
a second.
that, you know, because it is baby food, maybe that was just a brilliant marketing
Hey,
thing.
it probably will work better than anything. So we're going to eat our words when she's like skipping off in her yacht.
That's true.
Which is called
That's just-
baby food money, which will be
Good
fine.
for you, Jennifer Garner.
Yeah, good for you.
When I do that in Target, I don't get nearly
You
the
got
attention.
kicked out of the store. It's happened several
I don't
times.
film it though. That's
No.
what's weird.
It was a lot of production value there.
Yeah, they were.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What's interesting here is people are writing in. If you guys, can you take a look, Chris, of our windows? Those aren't real windows. Turns out it's only here in
Right.
Denver.
But not in our studio.
But not in our studio, except for compliments. Bring them on. No, but I mean, the weather has gone crazy. So
Little
Kelly
wacky
just
here.
showed us the flooding in the Midwest. There's also a heat advisory. I wanted people to be aware from Kansas to all the way to Maine. So that entire eastern sideboard right there has under a heat advisory. We'd love to hear from you guys. I'd love to know where you guys are from, but what's going on with your weather?
Tornado warnings, right? Right here in the
Yeah,
Denver
we've got
area?
tornado warnings in the eastern part of Colorado right now, so we're watching that. But we are expecting to get a little bit of hail here in Denver.
I heard it's, yeah.
So hopefully it passed us already, but it's unclear right now.
Me too. Yeah, so what happens here is if it's raining or sun shining or a rainbow, we don't know because they're not real windows.
If you don't like the weather, wait an hour.
Yeah, or just stay to DVL where it's always sunny.
Forever.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. It's time now for everyone's favorite segment, Al Sounds Off. And comedian Al Jackson goes off on the wildest stories he can
Jeff,
find.
how you feeling, brother?
Feeling good, man.
Lucky in the black, man.
Thanks, bud. I'm like some of my Johnny Cash.
There we go. That's
There we go.
right.
Let's do it. All right, Al. You like a good deli sandwich,
I'm
right,
from
Al?
Cleveland. I grew up in delis.
You're like me, buddy. All right, it's time to sound off on his 3-pound monster from last night's Man vs. Food. Check this out.
Eli drops a pound of corned beef and pastrami onto the first slice of bread, and the half a pound of roast beef, the half pound of roast turkey, lettuce and tomato, and the final slice of bread. This is Man vs. Manhattan!
I think we got a new 2-man crew.
Yeah, I think we just proved that men can get pregnant. Finally, a sandwich that makes you hug your kids goodbye before you go into the bathroom. And I mean, it's 4 sandwiches stacked on top of each other. That's not, you know, unnormal. It's but usually in a picnic basket, not your stomach. Let's go to the next one.
I really
and
wanna
also,
eat that.
I need one of those sandwiches.
Yeah, I need one too, man. I need one too. All right, when it comes to father-son time, this dad doesn't want to waste any of it chasing a fly ball. Enjoy this.
All right, this is cute. You know, I just like this kid because he's like, I'm going to buy one with my son, but I'm not going to be standing up to do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's baseball and fishing. It's like combining the 2 most boring things in Mount Rushmore. all we need is shuffleboard and something else, horseshoes.
There you go.
Let's go to the last
All right,
one.
Al, 80 years ago,
Oh,
they
Jesus.
shot. Oscar Mayer introduced the Wienermobile, and this summer, they're taking their hot dogs to new heights with the Oscar Mayer Jetpack. That's right, Al. Check it out.
Ooh.
It's our mission to get a better hot dog in every hand. So when the world calls out for a better hot dog, Oscar Mayer, taking hot dogs to new heights.
All right.
Finally, superhero giving girls his wiener. but it's good. We have a superhero that's giving people what they want.
Yeah.
Love handles. I thought that jetpack was embarrassing, but I mean, the only thing more embarrassing than that is being seen next to the Oscar Mayer wiener.
I know.
Mobile. That's ridiculous.
Who would do one of those, Al?
Not me.
Wait a second, Al.
All right.
What's that?
I'm kind of obsessed with hot dogs. Sorry, Oscar Mayer. Bring that car back.
Send us a pack.
That's
All right, everybody. That's Al Sounds Off, and this is comedian Al Jackson. We are live. Digital producer Raquel Villanueva has news at the moment.
Right now, Prince's unreleased music is in jeopardy of being released. On Tidal, the legendary musician's estate wants out of its exclusive deal with the streaming service. They say Tidal is inflating streaming numbers, making it seem like more people are listening to songs. Now, reports say Prince's estate is now asking the judge to get them out of the deal and not get caught up in any future legal trouble.
Raquel, what album are they lying about?
They're saying that they're inflating the numbers of Beyonce's Lemonade and The Life of Pablo by Kanye West, but Tidal says all those claims are false.
So you're saying there's a tidal wave of problems.
Jeff, you got to give it up. You got to give it up, man.
I don't know if I'm giving
Jeff,
it up.
come on, man.
It sounded good because Dre gave a good laugh. All right, what's your favorite summer food? You might want to think twice about what you're grilling this season. Brett Forrest, you have this story coming in hot.
That's right, Jeff. Delish.com put together a list of summer foods you should never eat. Apparently, some dishes are doing more harm than good. We put our hosts to the test.
So what's the worst summer food for you? Barbecue sauce? Guessing that has a ton of sugar.
I'm gonna go with the corn on the cob because that's what they give to the pigs to make them fat.
They always say, don't put any ketchup on your hot dog. So that's my sneaky answer. It's the hot dogs because there's ketchup on it.
Everything on this tray is bad for you.
They're all terrible for you? Even corn?
According to Delish.com, kernels can cause gum inflammation and extra plaque.
Barbecue sauce isn't good for you because 2 tablespoons of this stuff can pack nearly 100 calories. Try dry rub instead. Okay, I will.
They've recognized a direct cause and effect relationship between colorectal cancer and food and sausage casing. Can we have any joy left in life?
Now, watermelon with seeds even made the list because they can cause major bloating, but I say we should all just live a little bit. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Brett.
Yeah, let us live.
Who gets watermelon with seeds?
These facts are the quickest way to get uninvited from the picnic. Like, hey, you know, there's some nitrates in there. I'm like, how about you leave my backyard?
That's so fun.
All right, guys. Coming up on Daily Blast Live, an emotional interview with a woman who was forced to drop rape charges against her 4 attackers. 20 years later, how she's fighting back. You don't want to miss this. It's next.
Start your day the DBL way. Go to our website or Facebook page and subscribe to our free morning newsletter, The Breakfast Blast. It's delivered right to your inbox and it gives you the latest headlines. Subscribe now and be in the know before your first cup of joe.
Hey guys, it's Raquel Villanueva, and I got some stories for you during the break. So Meghan Trainor's new album now has a release date. It is going to be August 31st, and you can pre-order it tomorrow if you just can't wait to buy it in August. I know there's like a couple songs out right now. No Excuses, Let You Be Right, Can't Dance. I don't know if any Meghan Trainor fans out here are excited about this. I know Ariana Grande's music is coming out soon. And what I don't know is if anyone else has any stories, so I'll keep going. Brett, what about you?
Yeah, I can talk about something.
Okay.
We didn't hit this yet, did we? Right? No. So what's up, guys? Angelica's trying to get in the way here. Angelica, just say hi at least.
Hello. Say hi to your fans.
They're always hard at work over here. On their Bachelorette Blast, by the way. You guys should tune in and watch that whenever it's ready. Yeah. I've never watched the show, but these girls make it exciting. But still, I'm never going to watch the show anyway. All right, so I have a way for you guys to save some money at home if you have some kids off for the summertime. Regal Cinemas, which I know are all over Denver and around the country, they're offering $1 admission to family movies this summer. It's on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and they have a list here. So it's going to be movies like Iron Giant, Curious George, Despicable Me, you know, really good kids movies. Probably not so much for your older kids, teens, junior high, high school, but if you have some young ones who are not in school right now, this is going to be a good way to save some money. Dollar movies, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Regal Cinemas at 10 a.m. showtimes. And yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty cool. Hopefully you guys can hit it up and save some money, but yeah, that's all we got over here, I think.
We can like go over and watch Angelica work on the Bachelor breakdown. Angelica, behind the scenes.
Here it is. It's about to go on our YouTube.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. Today we are shining the DBL spotlight on fighting back against sexual violence.
In 1998, I was drugged and brutally gang raped by 4 men.
2 of whom were football players for Oregon State University. It was her word against the college athletes. The community backlash left Brenda suicidal. Defeated, Brenda dropped the charges. Unfortunately, campus sexual assaults continue to make headlines. Today, Brenda is launching Set the Expectation, a pledge for athletes and coaches to be part of the fight against sexual violence.
Brenda Tracy joins us now. First, Brenda, I want to thank you for joining us. You know that I saw you over a year ago on the TD Jakes show, and it changed my life and my story. So I'm so happy to have you here today. Oh. And it's a really big day for you because your website and pledge launched today. What does the pledge promise and what does it mean to you almost 20 years after you were raped?
Just ask coaches to stand in front of the room with their players and say that sexual assault and physical violence is never okay, and that their behavior was attached to their eligibility. So if you were going to commit a crime, then you lost the privilege to play sports. I think the biggest thing is that, you know, seeing everything that's happening now makes me feel like what I went through was not in vain.
No, and I understand that. You know, it's interesting that you would have to give incentives to people to not commit a sexual assault, but it might foreshadow your answer for why did you decide to drop the rape charges 20 years ago?
The DA told me I didn't have a good case. The DA said that it would be really hard for me to win. I would have to go through 4 separate trials. I was being called names by my community. I was receiving death threats. The backlash was horrible towards me.
I want to ask what the response has been from athletes who have learned about your story and signed the pledge.
The men and the coaches that I work with have really responded well to me. I think that most of our men want to do good. I think that they want to change these things. I think sometimes they just don't know how, and that's one of the things I do is I go out and I help men understand why this is their problem and why they need to step up.
Well, I encourage you to continue to do this work as well. What words of advice or encouragement do you have for other victims in similar situations?
So I would say, number one, you're not alone. It is not your fault. The only thing that causes sexual assault or rape is the person committing it.
Well, Brenda, I have to tell you, I will never forget the day that you were on my television in my living room and made me acknowledge my truth. So thank you so much. You have been absolutely dynamic and you are so brave and brilliant. And I just want to thank you for fighting against sexual violence. And again, for more information and to sign the pledge, go to settheexpectation.com. Thank you, sister.
Thank you so much. I think you're amazing, and I wish you nothing but love and peace and healing and all kinds of amazing, amazing things, because you deserve every bit of it.
Man.
That was amazing.
Erica, oh my God. It was, I mean, you just never know how life works and why people are connected, because I was sitting at home trying to get a television job and watching this and thinking like, testimony teachers, like these things are so dynamic and you never know who's home being like, that's my story too. And this was a woman who reached out to me right after the Cosby trial, and she didn't know that I knew who she was, and now we have this connection. And so I'm just so glad that we were able to share our stories.
Do you plan on staying in touch?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And trust me, Cobb, you were going to do that for someone else as well if you haven't already.
I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you.
All right, guys, we'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
if you're a person that has been confided in by somebody that
Okay.
they've been a victim of sexual assault, but they
Okay.
have not yet come forward, what is somebody like my place or Tori or Jeff's place, and like knowing this person's secret, like, is there an obligation to come forward, or do I try and convince them?
Well, you
In
just hold
my-
space.
Yeah, in my opinion, I don't think that it's your obligation or your right to go forward unless it's a minor. Like if it's a child,
Or
then
if
yes.
they're in imminent danger,
right?
let's say.
Then I would say yes. You can advocate for that person. But if I were like, I was very close to the vest about my story, and I only told one person, so I would not have been okay with that being brought to the authorities or brought to someone else. That was just
In some, and I'm not comparing the two, but when you come out of the closet as
Yeah,
gay,
what-
you sort of want it on your own terms, and you don't want
I
someone
guess
else
we could
taking
bring it back
responsibility and
around.
doing that. Same
Wanna
with
close
that
out
is,
the
I would
immigration
think, if
topic?
you've been a victim
Okay.
of that, you want to own that. You don't want someone else taking
Yeah.
power because you've already had that happen to you. Is that similar?
Yeah, very.
Interesting, interesting. Guys,
Thanks, guys.
thanks for watching.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. And guys, I just want to, we only have a minute left, but I just want to say thank you so much for all your comments on either side. This has been one of the most comments we've ever had during a show, and it's been a hot topic, you know?
Yeah, as citizens, you have the right to feel certain ways, but what I don't want you to do is leave without information, without being knowledgeable. Whatever side you're on, you are a citizen, take action. No matter what, you can make a difference.
I just want to say I'm just honored to be able to sit here and deal with, not only be with our audience, but also with you guys. You guys have helped transform and shape how I look at the world, and I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, and I just want to say I see all your comments, guys, and I get the whole thing with, you know, we have our own problems in this country, but it starts with humanity. If you're humane to other people in other countries and just people in general, all those problems will be fixed, guys. Stories never stop. We don't either. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. Keep that conversation going. Have a great
We are going to be doing for apples. You have 1 minute. We're going to do it at the same time. Oh no, my face is way too pretty.
We're going to do a dramatic reading now from Night Watch.
Night shift.
Right.
Bleeding in the left lower quadrant.
Tell Cat Scan we're coming as soon as he's tuned.
I'm losing his pulse. Okay, so we're just doing. So you hear everyone? Don't open it. Don't, for God's sake, save the children.
New sunscreen, it's Sea Star Sparkle. It's Sproof 50, so you're actually getting some protection from the sun.
SPF, by the way.
Okay, I say Sproof.
So today we're playing Big Mouth. Jeff and Tori each have a minute to guess trending headlines they can give to the other player.
You're freaking me out. Bill, you lost on your own question.
Yeah, I can't even remember my own dialogue.
Bill came in second.
Tori's gonna win. Similar.
Oh, it's big, guys.
You have wrapped in your hand.
That is a pretty.
It looks just
big-
like that.
It does. It does. This is how it's done right here.
Hey everybody, it's Samantha Harris. Welcome to Dancing with the Hosts. That's right.
Puppies!
So why don't you go to the moon?
We watch me on Blind Date on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's there. Excuse
found the clip that you. So embarrassing.
I make my jazz. So every time you watch
Start the day with Jordan Braun's jazz hands.
Everybody thought I don't know comics really ticks me off.
Favorite thing ever is emoji. Headline, today's headline with emojis. Jeff and I try to figure it out. Okay, Nestle paid for the rights to sell Starbucks. Sell Starbucks!
No, I want nothing to do with this, so I'm leaving.
They want to make sure you
Daily Blast Live. The heartbreaking sound of kids separated from their parents. DBL is asking, what can be done? A harrowing rescue caught on camera, the latest on flooding in the Midwest. Plus, hip-hop pioneer Daryl DMC McDaniels sits down with Jeff and Al.
These comic books, even though it was a fantasy, pretend, make-believe world, it wasn't fake to me.
How he's turned his love of comics into a new venture. And the answer to the age-old question, can money buy happiness? Daily Blast Live starts right now.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Tuesday, June 19th, and we are a live show that's talking about what you're talking about, and there's a lot to talk about. Let's get right to it, guys. Right now, outrage is growing over an audio recording that appears to show you hear the cries of Spanish-speaking children who've been separated from their parents. And according to our viewers, this may be upsetting. And you know, I don't know how you feel about just having a child. I'm sure you feel the same way. That's heartbreaking to hear that. And I get people's discourse. I'm on the side of we have a problem with immigration, and I'm the first one. I'll tell you that. But separating a child from his mother or her from her father, that's not the answer to me. That's not the answer.
I'll give it to you on a small scale and a larger scale, Jeff. I was at Dave & Buster's with my youngest kid, 3.5, 4 years old, and I lost sight of him for probably what equated to maybe 15 seconds to 20 seconds, and it was the worst 20 seconds. I keep replaying that over and over and over. On a larger scale, in a scale of our history, you look at what we did to the Native Americans, separating them from their children and their parents, and what happened to that culture subsequently. I mean, have you seen a Native American in the last 20 years? Where are they? They've been destroyed because of what we did to them. Look at what we did to the slaves. We separated mother from daughter, father from son, and it destroyed and splintered black culture, which we're just now starting to recover from. This is a systematic tactic that is used to destroy people that you don't want to become a part of your country. We didn't do this with the Italian immigrants. We did not do this with Irish immigrants when they came over here, and look how they've assimilated into this culture. This is done to brown people when they come to this country. Let's make no mistake.
All right, we have more on that. We are joined by reporter Jason Whiteley from our sister station in Dallas. He's at the International Bridge in downtown El Paso. There you are, Jason. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to get right to it. You're at the border. What has the reaction been there to this zero tolerance policy?
You know, covering the border for the last 18 years here in Texas, everyone has an opinion on the border, but this is pretty different down here right now. I've never seen the outrage that we saw today. They were planning a march this morning. 50 or so people showed up by the time the march began. It exploded to 500 people, which kind of shocked us. It shocked the organizers. People are livid down here on the border about what is happening. Those 500 people, I mean, we're in El Paso. We're in the desert down here on the border. Those people marched 1.5 miles in near triple-digit temperatures. They're upset. They hope that march really sends that message.
Thank you so much. And what's happening to families who are trying to find their family, just find their children there and to seek asylum?
Yeah, so there's two separate groups here right now. So you have the people on the bridge behind us that are trying to come into the country. These aren't the normal commerce people coming here to shop in El Paso, but people who are trying to seek asylum here. They're being stopped on the bridge by Customs and Border Patrol. CBP is essentially saying, hey, you can't come in right now, essentially. We have no space to put you until you go before an immigration judge. So the U.S. right now is turning away asylum seekers, and it's been happening like that for the last week or so is what we've heard, which is astonishing if you think about, but the bottom line is there are just no beds to put those asylum seekers in while they await to hear an immigration judge.
Now, you've been covering the border for a while. I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but how does this make you feel?
You know, you guys played that audio, that sound we heard a few moments ago. That's disgusting. It's heartbreaking when you hear that, when you see the pictures of small children especially taken away. But this is a battle of ideas. And, you know, I get both sides of this. Taking children away from parents, that's not the solution. On the opposite side you have here, you have U.S. law. For a long time, President Obama did catch and release. I think President George Bush did the same thing. President Trump is taking the existing law and he's getting rid of the catch and release, and he's doing zero tolerance. I asked the White House today in an interview I had with him, while Congress is trying to figure out a solution, will President Trump stop the zero tolerance, stop separating children? And the White House suggested to me, essentially, my words here, absolutely not. Wow. They're not planning to stop that at all while Congress tries to consider a solution.
Wow.
Jason, thank you so much for joining us here on Daily Blast Live, and thanks for the great information.
Sure. Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
even him who sees both sides says it's disgusting. I mean,
and
you see both sides
exactly
as well.
have the same feelings as Jason on this one.
Al brought up the incident with your son at Dave & Buster's, and when I heard that audio this morning, I was getting ready and doing my morning routine, and I stopped and I immediately went towards the sound, because when you hear a child in distress, I don't have children, but I stopped and went towards the sound, because that's what you do as an adult and that's what you do as a human being. The fact that we've politicized this so much that we've taken the humanity and the empathy out of that visceral reaction is a crime.
Yeah. How many people are writing in calling kids criminals? They've been on the planet 4 or 5 years. They've been able to speak maybe for 2 of those, 2 or 3, and they're already being labeled a criminal. Think about the mindset that would have to be going on for you to be calling a 5-year-old a criminal. Think about that. It's a person that doesn't know where it is, doesn't know what's going on,
has done
is
nothing
scared
wrong.
to death, and has no one to advocate for them, and you're pointing at them and calling them a criminal. That's something that you and that you've got to wrestle with. I have no input on that. I don't understand that.
All right, guys, we are live. Kelly Schubert has breaking news at the moment.
Yeah, I do have breaking news just in a Daily Blast Live. Republicans are on Capitol Hill right now working to figure out a solution to children being taken from their parents at the border. GOP leaders are revising their legislation and are focusing on a new plan that will keep children detained longer than permitted, but with their parents. The president plans to meet with leaders this evening on Capitol Hill. I'll, of course, keep you updated.
Thank you so much, Kelly. And here at Daily Blast Live, we want to stress how you could help. An online fundraiser has gone viral, raising money to help reunite immigrant parents with their children. So far, it's raised more than $5 million, and the money goes to Raíces, a nonprofit group in Texas. Beyond just donating money, head to any of our social pages for information on how you can make a difference by fostering language service, anything you could do, and calling your local representative. And guys, I do want to stress here, because we have been talking about this all day. If you don't want to donate, that's fine. You don't have to. We're just giving this an option for people who do want to donate. I understand what you're saying in our country about this, and we have our own problem. But I think our problem in this whole world, not just our country, is humanity. And I think we've lost sense of what that really means. And if you want to donate, that's fine. And if you don't, that's fine too. But I don't think hate is the answer either. So do what you like. I'm not telling you guys what to do, but we all need to just try to find a way to get along.
That's true. And what they're looking for right now that they need is translators, Spanish to English. They're also looking for foster homes if you're interested in taking a child in, as well as any attorneys willing to give their time, especially immigration attorneys. If you can get to the Southwest right now, pro bono, if you're interested, look at some of these places. We have it on our social media links. Things like KIND, ACLU, Texas Civil Rights Project. They are in need of those 3 things: translators, attorneys, and foster homes.
All right, I feel like we need a feel-good story.
Yes,
You're right,
let me just say this. The first immigrant lawyer that writes our show, I'll pay for their flight down there and back.
Okay.
So the first one to write a DBL right
now.
There you go, Al Jackson, everybody.
Wow.
Let's get to that feel-good story. That was one as well, Al. All right, Bruce Springsteen delighted fans last night at New Jersey's bowling alley. Whoa. He played a blues set that you've got to see. Check this out.
Whoa.
That was a nice bowling alley.
Things have changed since Kingpin. Yeah.
Jeez.
That was nice.
Well, we're in the age of fancy bowling alleys now. Like I took my son bowling just on a day off and picked him up from school early, and we went to like those fancy kind of hipster bowling alleys. Like it was like $50. I was like, was my son drinking Chivas Regal? Like where did this check come from? It was like shoes and a ball.
We should go.
Yes.
On Al.
I'm broke after taking my son.
All right, guys, Daily Blast Live is diving into the national immigration debate. More of your opinions coming up. Plus, they say speed kills, but driving slow annoys. Why one trooper's tweet is going viral. And you know Daryl DMC McDaniels from the iconic hip-hop group? He founded Run DMC, but did you know he's big into comics too? And you, the viewer, are the fifth host. Would you move in with your best friend if it meant sharing parent responsibilities? Your comments? That's coming up next.
Hey guys, I'm going to hold this up. It'll be full screen, but I just want to hold this up. I want to give you some information, because what do I say about knowledge? It's power. Thank you. I'm glad he knows
Did you watch?
I was like, is this a trick?
Is this a trick? So on the left is green. These are people that if you are for the zero tolerance policy, you probably want to be following. I'm not giving my opinion here. This is some information. President Trump, we already know. I want you to say this name so you know it. Kirstjen Nielsen. She is the U.S. Homeland Security head. She's the blonde woman you've seen say, I will not apologize for this. So if you're for that, you're probably in favor of Kirstjen Nielsen. I want you to know that name to sound informed. Right underneath this is Jeff Sessions. He's the Attorney General of the United States. He quoted the Bible in supporting this, and also has said no apology at all. He believes completely in the zero tolerance policy. And finally, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, as you well know, she's the press secretary, is still advocating for this, making biblical references for enforcing the law. So if you are for this zero tolerance policy and separating children from mothers and fathers, I'm not going to say anything, this is who you should be looking at. If you are against it, take a look at this red circle that we made over here.
Or if you're against separation of church and state.
Correct.
Why
So,
get into facts?
Very nice. Senator Dianne Feinstein has stopped the separation bill. 49, all of them Democratic, have signed on. One Republican named Mike Kaufman from our state of Colorado has signed on as a possibility to take it to the House. No Republicans yet have signed on. However, John McCain, Ted Cruz from Arizona, Ted Cruz from Texas, Ben Sasse from Nebraska, Orrin Hatch from Utah, all Republicans, Lindsey Graham as well, come forward to the press and said very much they are absolutely against this. Ted Cruz has also supported a bill he's just proposed into the Senate helping increase immigration judges so these get through sooner. If you're against separating children from their parents, these are the people you should be following. Also, the First Lady group, the Laura Bushes, Rosalind Carter came out again, of course, Jimmy Carter's wife. We have Michelle Obama and, of course, Hillary Clinton, who spoke yesterday. And the head of the United Nations Human Rights Council has just come out against it. And we just separated ourselves. Today, this morning, the U.S. has pulled out of the Human Rights Commission. We'll talk more about it later.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. This next story puts a new spin on the old saying, friends with benefits. Ashley Simpo is a Brooklyn-based writer and mom of one. She wrote an article for Huffington Post about moving in with her best friend, who is a mom of two. Together, they share parenting responsibilities and even split the bills. DBL Nation, would you co-parent with your best friend? That's today's question, and let's get straight to your comments. Erica, let's kick it off.
Well, Kimberly says, I think that's a fabulous idea. Who could support or understand your situation better than another mother who is also your best friend? I agree with Kimberly. I was this close to being in that same exact situation. A girlfriend of mine were going through a divorce at the same time. I didn't have children, but she did, and we thought it'd be a really great way of helping each other out. And just logistically speaking, because of my job, we didn't end up doing it, but we were super close.
You understand this?
Super close.
Brandy writes us, I would co-parent. You can't afford anything on your own anymore. Brandy, I want to give you something. It's a study that just came out, and it said, guess how many cities that you can afford a 2-bedroom apartment based on minimum wage in America? Guess how many cities
I bet you're
you can
blow
afford?
my mind.
100?
100? Oh, 100 cities?
Well, there's a lot of cities.
10.
Yeah.
10? Jeff?
I think 100 is a little high now.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, I would say about 100.
The answer is 0. Not a single city in the United States can you be living on a minimum wage and afford a 2-bedroom apartment without vermin being infected in it.
Well, Tori, that leads right into what you're saying because Thomas says I work on minimum wage and I had to give up my 1-bedroom apartment to move back in with my family. I mean, first of all, we did not plan that. I mean, I believe it. I mean, if you have children and you want to care for them, you know, as somebody that has had to vet babysitters, even though their credentials are right, you just don't. It's a stranger. Right. So I don't know. I think it's a good idea. Find somebody that you know loves you and loves your kid as much as you do. So I'm all for this. I want to see more of this.
I think it takes a village, and I think there's nothing wrong. In some cultures, the grandparents move back in and help raise. I think this is great. If you can't afford it,
I think so too. And I don't think it's society, because they write you on Twitter saying you live with your parents, get over it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What do you say?
Yeah, beat it. I sure do. Ma, I'm coming home. All right. We are live. Red Forest with news at the moment.
Thanks, guys. I have an update to a story we've been following here at DBL. Milwaukee Bucks basketball player Sterling Brown is suing the police department today after his stun gun arrest back in January. Body cam footage of the incident was recently released. Watch. You see him there surrounded by cops after he double parked in a Walgreens parking lot around 2 a.m. on January 26th. 8 officers force him to the ground and use a stun gun despite Brown not resisting, as you see in the video there. The lawsuit filed today claims unlawful arrest and excessive force.
Hey, Brett, or how much should I say is he suing for?
So it's unspecified how much he's suing for, but Brown has said that it's not about the money. He just wants to improve relations between the police and the community.
All right. Thanks, Brett. Wow. All right, stars at the MTV Movie Awards actually wore drugstore beauty products, and you could get the look for less too. Erica, you have that story coming in hot.
That's right. Believe it or not, some of the beauty products our favorite celebs were wearing came from the drugstore. First up, actress Kristen Bell. She kept her lips shiny with Vaseline Lip Therapy Balm with aloe. It's only $6 at Walmart. Next, Olivia Munn's hair looked pillow soft by brushing it in Tresemme unscented dry shampoo. It's only $5 at Target. And last but not least, my girl Yara Shahidi, she showed off some cute nails with the Essie Wild Nude shades. The price, only $9. So it just goes to show you, you don't have to spend a fortune on expensive products to look your best.
There you go. Yara Shahidi.
But is there high-end Vaseline?
I'm sure there's high-end everything now.
You're probably right.
There's gold flecks in it.
Coming up, Daily Blast Live, actress Jennifer Gardner, the newest Target employee. Say what? Who, Al? And Al and I sit down with legendary hip-hop pioneer Daryl DMC McDaniels at Denver's Comic-Con. Bet you didn't know he was such a big fan of comic books.
Hey everyone, it's Lex. I'm here with the digital team, giving you the top trending stories during the breaks. A lot of tough conversation today during our show, but we do have a duty as Daily Blast Live to give you anything and everything that is trending right now. So let's take a little breath, let's take a little breather, and I'm going to give you some fun Starbucks news. Yeah, so Us Weekly is sharing this story that the mango dragon fruit refresher will be your summer go-to. Now, rosé is not the only trending pink drink this summer, apparently. It's a mango dragon fruit. Yeah.
Is this new Starbucks?
Yes,
Sorry.
new Starbucks. It's a new refresher, so it's 100 calories for a grande.
Oh,
yeah.
Mango dragon fruit.
Mango dragon fruit.
Would you try it?
I would try it. I've heard really good things about it. People on the internet are raving about it. It's available today already.
Cool.
So go get yourself one.
And it's kind of like, I know this is going to sound
pretty.
real stupid, but if it is pretty. If you do an Instagram, like, it's cute.
It's got chunks of dragonberry in it, too.
Dragonberry? I feel that that's a Khaleesi made of
Yeah.
fruit, but I'm very involved
dragon
in it.
fruit, yeah.
Dragonberry. Oh, okay, great. So, guys, let us know your favorite Starbucks.
Second guess myself.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't know Dragonberry was real. Let us know your favorite Starbucks summer drink. What's your summer drink?
Fun tip, too, with this drink, some people are trading almond milk or some kind of dairy-free option, coconut milk, with this drink.
Oh.
So instead of having it as like a clear tea, it's more of a milk tea.
Interesting, kind of like a chai.
Yeah.
Interesting. Guys, what's your favorite summer Starbucks? I'm actually asking because I need some. This looks like it could be. What's your favorite?
We could use some coffee.
Yeah.
I do a cold brew.
Cold brew. Very trendy
with
right now.
toffee nut.
Cold brew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Toffee nut.
Toffee
Black,
nut cold brew.
no sugar.
We got an applause from Leo.
Thank you, everyone.
Wow. Thank you, Leo. All right. We got Kelly is actually matching the mango dragon fruit. So from from pink to pinker. Tell us what's going
Well, it
on.
looks like they got their new pink drink.
I know,
Yeah.
very true.
All right, we're moving on to a different kind of food story. So Costco is investing in avocados that have longer shelf life. Now let me break this down a little bit more. So they are coated with a plant derivative that usually extends its life to about 5 more days than it usually would. And I think I always have issues. I check my avocado,
Yeah.
it looks perfect. I walk away for 10 minutes, I come back and it's
It's
bad.
like a shriveled,
Yeah.
angry person. I know.
So I think this is really attractive. Bill Gates is actually supporting the
that's
investment
great.
of this fund. So obviously you have a lot of big donors really interested in this. Produce is huge, avocados is huge. The fact that Costco's getting in on this, a lot of different elements.
Let us know. Are you avocado? Okay.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. In the 80s and 90s, Run DMC became one of the most influential hip-hop groups of all time. Co-founder Daryl McDaniels, aka DMC, has brought that same iconic style and passion to his comic book line called Daryl Makes Comics. Al and Jeff got the chance to sit down with Daryl at Denver's Comic-Con, and today's Chatting with the Stars.
Dude, I can't believe we're here with the one and only DMC. Tell me, I'm happy we're interviewing you, but why are we at Comic-Con?
The story goes like this. Before hip-hop came over the bridge, all I did as a kid was read, collect, and draw comic books. Yeah. If it wasn't for comic books, I would have never had the confidence that I have in life.
I love that. I kind of look at comic books as escapism. Where were you living at the time, and where was that world taking you to?
It was an escape. I went to Catholic school. I wore glasses, and I read comic books. So my life as a kid was miserable.
Yeah, I was like, so things are going good.
I stayed at home and got into them comic books. I saw myself in them. Even though it was a fantasy, pretend, make-believe world, and if you look at those words, make-believe, 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 make the world believe who you are. When hip-hop came over the bridge, I was like, oh, shoot, you could tell stories about who you are over music. So because of the comic books, I started writing these little raps about me just pretending to be the most powerful entity in the hip-hop universe. Thor was the son of Odin from Asgard. He had a brother named Loki, and he had a hammer. So I'm from Hollis. I was like, I'm Daryl. I'm from Hollis. My father's name is Byford. I got a brother named Alfred, and I got a Mike. So I became son of Byford, brother of Al. Banner's my mother and runs my pal.
Are you, I mean, I wasn't expecting this motivation because I love it. I'm all about positivity.
Yeah.
Do you convey this positivity in your comic books now?
Yes. Inspire, motivate, educate, and entertain.
What is it inside of you that made you such a positive human being?
Negativity is celebrated. And the reason why I say it's celebrated, they think negativity makes you tough. So I'm growing up and I'm watching all this negativity around me get celebrated, and it's not getting us nowhere. So for me, I see a power in being good.
Let's close.
I said we ended there, man.
I just want to thank you. It's been an honor being your presence. Thank you so much.
Just went out, man.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
All right,
Definitely.
Hey, bro.
I mean, amazing. That was amazing.
That is so
And the
awesome.
whole interview we're going to post on our social, on YouTube and Facebook. The whole thing was incredible.
Jeff, we need some positivity nowadays. His is legitimate. He's not trying to sell any positivity books or anything. This is how he lives. So just please check out the interview. It's worth it. It's worth
It's
30
definitely
minutes.
worth. They're going to cut out one little part though, and I'll let you in on what it was.
What was it?
So we had questions given to us, and it said one of the comic books is going to fund 100% of proceeds go to a Puerto Rican relief fund. So while he was talking about that, I was like glimpsing down at the cards. I didn't write it, and I go, so 100% goes to Puerto Rican relief fund? He goes, what? Who told you that? It was just for one comment. But so he does have, but it was a great moment. See that part of what you just said. All right, coming up on Daily Blast Live, a word to the wise: don't be a slowpoke. Why this tweet is going viral, and next, how a young girl has become a violin prodigy despite being deaf. It's an incredible story of hope and resilience.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Thank you. So, just got a tweet from everyone, so I like to read the tweets. This is Bill J. Lucas. It's Common Sense Bill. He writes, thank you so much for your heartfelt and real emotions that are rarely seen today on TV. This always makes me want to cry, because that's why I wanted to do Daily Blast Live. He says, the immigration issue is disgusting. Al is 100% right. We are the United States, not some banana republic. Stop the insanity. No matter what power you're on, no matter what side you're on, we do try to be super real. So when you think you're watching us putting on something or faking anything, absolutely not true.
And the thing is, Tori, I'm not trying to be right. I'm just trying to say, like...
You're trying to have some sense.
I'm trying to look for a baseline that we can work from. You know, can we agree that children don't need to be in cages? Is that the baseline in which we can then even start to disagree?
Yeah.
But we need a baseline, and I feel like every time I feel like we find that, I feel like
we slip another.
So now we have to start arguing about things just to get up to the children in cages.
Right, like we keep going down and down.
Yeah.
You know what really interested me was the coalition of first ladies. I think we're going to see more of this, guys. Laura Bush, Rosalind Carter, Melania Trump, Michelle Obama, and Hillary Clinton. Never have those first ladies, all differently politically, ideologically, couldn't be more different. All of them have come forward against this. What I think we'll see is some kind of coalition from the first ladies. I also want to just put this out there, guys. Follow the Republican senators from Utah. They are Mormon. They are very into families, very family-oriented. They will be the first, and bet you this, to walk away from the president. And I think it will be led by Orrin Hatch, who is a very strong conservative. But the Utah Republican senators have started a group that will not stand for this because of their Christian Mormon beliefs. Interesting to see if you keep an eye on those Utah Republican senators to see what they will do. Thanks, guys.
3, 2.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. Today's Heart Threads is about the power of perseverance. Now, Autumn was born deaf, but she's not letting anything get in the way of making music. Take a look.
This deaf teenager is defying expectations and receiving recognition for her musical talent. When she was 4, Autumn Greenlee had surgery for a cochlear implant. It gave her just a faint sense of hearing, but enough to fall in love with music.
She started to do it and absolutely loved it. And so things just went from there.
Autumn plays by feeling more than hearing.
I do play a lot from vibration memory and muscle memory.
Over the years, she's gained talent and earned attention from experts and institutions, including the University of Colorado, which gave her a music scholarship.
She's very confident about what she's playing, and she's always very focused.
As she moves on to the next chapter in her life, Autumn remains confident and undaunted by whatever the future may hold.
I never really saw my hearing impairment as something that would hold me back.
Amazing. Isn't that insane? So what she does is she can hear faintly from the cochlear implant, but what she hears is the vibrations in her body. So this is going to sound real hippy-dippy. She feels the music. And to be honest,
I don't think that does. No.
I think, and to be honest, that makes you an even better musician. Muscle memory and feeling the music. Incredible.
What's my excuse for not learning guitar? All right, guys, here's what's coming up on Daily Blast Live.
Attention, slowpokes. A trooper's tweet goes viral, calling out slow drivers. You know who you are. Can money buy happiness? A new survey of Americans may surprise you. And a furry friend helped a girl when she needed it the most. What a Yorkie did that's making DBL Nation smile.
Was that on? Okay, good. Hi guys, we are back. If you guys, some of you are asking where you can find information. Again, if you go to DBL social media pages and you go to each of our individuals, I think you guys, are you all posting it on your Instagrams and stuff? Yes. Okay. So I posted it on mine. You can go to Erica's or Jeff's or any one of ours, and it gives you some information. One of those, Al is actually close with one of the people who owns it, Kind. It's a great organization for kids in defense. What they're looking for, again, though, is if you're a translator, English to Spanish, Spanish to English, if you want to foster, or if you are an attorney, an immigration attorney, they really need your help. Now, Al has so amazingly, I don't know if you guys heard, I just wanted to put out there, Al, what did you offer?
I'll buy, so the first person that writes into DBL, that's an immigration lawyer that wants to go down and lend their services, I will pay for your ticket there and back. So just let us know. We need help on the front line.
Unbelievable, Al. Isn't that incredible? Yeah, he doesn't need that, but he should deserve that. It's incredible. It's incredible. So I'm donating to ACLU and KIND. The Texas Civil Rights Project is excellent, but make sure you're checking which charity goes to which, because you don't want to be giving money and it doesn't go anywhere. So again, if you follow Instagram, I am Tori Schulman, Erica, all of us, we're posting a video of it, which organizations we've vetted already. So good luck with that. And if you don't want to, that's fine too. We just want to have it open for you guys. Oh, are people writing in? Okay, hold on. We might have had our first one out. Let me check. I'm sorry.
15 seconds, here we go.
Okay, she says, I will adopt a kid. I am okay. We'll tell about it later. Right?
Thank you.
And welcome back to Daily Blast Live. Let's get right to it, guys. Happening right now, the debate over separating immigrant parents from their children has the nation divided. And earlier, I spoke to Antar Davidson. He was an employee at an Arizona immigrant children's shelter where these kids would wait for processing, and he just quit. Here's why. Listen.
The direction the facility has taken in terms of dealing with the increased trauma of these kids coming from the zero tolerance policy was abhorrent morally, and so I felt that despite the good I was doing there, I couldn't continue to do that good and not expect to be told to do things which were immoral by generally all human standards. A bad immigration situation is not the president's fault. It's the fault of a lot of presidents. The zero tolerance policy is, however. Over the past 6 weeks, however, we saw an increasing amount of small children. The tender age kids went from the number in the facility went from about 5 to about 70 over the course of this week. And so instead of older kids who had made this journey by themselves and knew what they were getting into, the facility began to be filled with increasingly younger minors who with increasingly larger levels of trauma and the subsequent behavioral issues that surround that. It was said recently that this was a summer camp. Wow, what kind of summer camps did you go to growing up?
Wow. Thanks again, Antar. And he was just straight to the fact. It didn't seem like he had one side or the other.
There's no agenda there.
Right. He was just giving his point of view.
He's an employee that has, the knowledge that none of us have. We can sit here and pontificate for hours on hours, but like this is somebody that had boots on the ground, somebody that saw what was happening. And I'm assuming that this gentleman, Antar, is not a multimillionaire. I'm assuming in this day and age where jobs are, scarce. I mean, for him to give up his job, a steady job, a government job with benefits, he must see some things that really turned him off morally.
Let me pose this question. If tomorrow this was reversed or somehow they reunited the children with their parents, but still they were detained because they crossed the border illegally, would we still have an issue?
I think that's a totally separate issue. Literally, couldn't be more separate. I think that you have your own opinions on immigration. I totally get it. But keeping the parents with the kids is just the humane and efficacious thing to do.
But they are crossing the border illegally.
Right, but here's the thing. It's the way that's considered the punishment. It's the deterrent. So for me, I think I think we'd go back to the immigration debate, but I don't think that we would be having this outcry the way that we're having it, because in 42 to 46 in internment camps, that's how we punish people who spoke out. That's how we punished blacks when they were enslaved, or when we were enslaved.
Apartheid.
Yeah. So Holocaust. You had the separation of children.
So it's a punishment thing, and it's just completely inhumane and antiquated.
But it's a good question.
That was a whole nother debate. Hopefully we have soon.
True.
All right, severe and dangerous flooding is happening right now in some parts of the country. Digital producer Kelly Schubert has the latest.
Yeah, right now the Midwest is dealing with major flooding, and we've got incredible video just into the studio of a rescue in Rockford, Illinois. Take a look. This video was shot by the Rockford Register-Star, and it shows Good Samaritans trying to get to a 70-year-old man trapped in his vehicle. They were able to break the window and pull the man out of the car, and then use straps from their truck to walk the man safely along the fence. Jeff?
Thank you, Kelly. We needed that story today. Yeah. I really appreciate that. All right, guys, have you ever gotten pulled over? We're switching gears here, for literally. For driving too slow? Well, in some states, officers are enforcing slowpoke laws to keep slow drivers out of the left lane. This tweet from an Indiana state trooper is going viral, showing a car he pulled over for driving too slow in the left lane. What about you, DBL Nation? Have you ever gotten pulled over for driving too slow? It just reminds me of Tommy Boy.
Well, you know.
Oh, no, Black Sheep, Black Sheep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's how fast were you going? 9. 90? You were doing 9. No, I mean, I got my father, and first of all, also again, Happy Father's Day. I got taught how to drive by an old black man, so I kind of drive like one now. Like, I never get speeding tickets. I'm pretty, like, you guys have been in the car with me. I don't really speed that much. I just kind of take my time. My dad always said, take your time and get there. But this is more of a road hazard. When you're driving too slow in the left lane, people pass you illegally, and people in the middle aren't ready for that. So it's a real road hazard.
Yeah.
Tori, how about you?
Well, so to be super honest, when I drive, and I don't do it very often, as you guys know.
When was the last time you
I've never been in the car with Tori. A calendar year, 1 year, never been in a car.
If I get lost, I tend to get panicked, and I drive a little faster.
When was the last time you drove?
Probably like.
Driver's ed?
No. November. I just don't like. I know I'm not very good at it.
Of 2017?
Yeah, I'm just not good at it. So why would I object to people to my driving?
Well, you're on the show. Everyone missed that one. All right, let's get right to that. What they say? No, I'm a speed demon. 82%.
Nice.
That was a good.
I think Tori's part of that 18.
18%. Keep it. Slow it down over there.
Slow it down.
Can we do a segment where Tori learns how to redrive?
Like in the parking lot, she runs over all the cones.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh, we have to do that. Okay, we're doing that.
Done. All right.
I'll teach you how to parallel park.
I can do that well. I just can't drive. Okay.
All right.
And I don't take that on face value.
I was gonna say.
I'll bet
Brett's
all of
waiting
you.
over there.
I'll bet all of you.
They say that money can't buy love, but can it buy happiness?
Yes.
A new survey from a private banking company asked millionaires what wealth means to them, and 65% said wealth is a peace of mind. 54% said it's happiness, but 42% said that the biggest sacrifice they make for wealth is time with family. Obviously.
Yeah.
What
And
about
100% said get off my yacht.
Vote now at dailyblastlive.com. What does wealth mean to you? You know, I would like to have some wealth. I wouldn't mind having some wealth.
You're being honest there.
I'm being honest, but I don't think it's necessarily the end all and be all to happiness.
Well, I will say this. I'm taking the course from Yale that you guys can all take on the psychology of well-being. It's online. And they said that the best thing that makes you happy is time to do whatever you want. So what I suggest is money can buy you happiness if you're using that money to buy you time. If you have time-saving things like a nanny, like a housekeeper, all those things allow you to have more time for yourself, which has psychologically and scientifically been proven to make you happier. So in some respects, yeah.
And they've also linked smell to happiness, like the inside of a new Bentley. That smells great, and it makes me very happy. I like velvet ropes. I like champagne bottles on ice. I like it all. No, it makes you happier. Not arguing with your partner about money. I guarantee you, anybody watching knows that most of your arguments, they all boil down to money. Hey, you spent $100 last night. That was going to be our car repair money. Oh, well, can I have fun with everyone? That's where it starts.
It buys you freedom.
Once you don't have to have those arguments anymore, now you guys can just party it up.
But it's also a case to be made for the reason why you should come into wealth gradually as opposed to just becoming rich, because then you have all the fundamental tools to realize that just because you've made it there doesn't mean that you're going to stay there. So that's another thing that takes away peace of mind, which makes people unhappy.
Well, look at our DBL Nation, 61%. Money, just give me the green, that's all. All right, traveling's all about sightseeing, and we've got a roundup of the top attractions in every country. Brett, there you are. You've been waiting patiently. You got this story coming in hot.
Yeah, know what else money buys you? Plane tickets. So let's talk about some travel spots. Discount and coupon code website vouchercloud.com worked with TripAdvisor to compile every country's top-rated attraction. Some of the results might surprise you. First up, Canada. Oh, Canada, the #1 attraction is Niagara Falls. The 3 waterfalls combine to make the highest flow rate of any waterfall on Earth. Next, Mexico. The top attraction is the National Museum of Anthropology. That was one of my college majors. Located in Mexico City, the museum is the largest and most visited museum in the country. And finally, back here at home, Central Park in New York City is the top attraction. It spreads more than 800 acres, and there's plenty to do. And that is the only one on the list I've been to. But DBL Nation, have you been to any of these sites? Drop us a comment.
Ooh. I like that, the Egyptian thing.
Doesn't that look cool in Mexico? The Museum of Anthropology, how fabulous.
That'd be awesome.
Have anyone been in Niagara Falls?
I have.
Yes,
I have
not. Made of the mist.
Did anyone go over in a barrel?
No, but I got scared too. I had nightmares about the shower afterwards because it sounded like Niagara. I'm weird. Whatever. Let's move on.
I don't even know what you're talking about. All right, from a hero Yorkie to an unexpected employee at Target. Tori, what are you talking about?
No one knows. Well, dogs aren't just man's best friend. They're actually kids' best friends. Check this story out. 3-year-old Remy disappeared from her Missouri home. Police searched the farms near her home for hours until they found her the next morning with her Yorkie Terrier named Fat Heath waiting faithfully by her side the entire time. Everyone is home, safe and sound now, but we hope Fat Heath got a filet mignon for being such a good boy. And photographer Sophie Gammon is changing the way we see pit bulls with these gorgeous pics of the breed wearing flower crowns. She'd always been very afraid of pitties and wanted to confront her fear, good for her, and in the process learned how sweet and gentle they really are. And Jennifer Garner just posted this silly video on Instagram to promote her new baby food line at Target. Take a look, guys.
Can't believe how much kids and moms love it. Maybe it's one of their co-founders. I don't know. She's supposed to be kind of rad. It's cool how you wear those khakis. Oh, I love a uniform. May I show you the way? Well, tell me where to go.
Wow, playing all the parts herself. Get this woman an Oscar already. Coming up on Daily Blast Live, a victim of rape is leading men in the fight against sexual violence. Their pledge still ahead. And up next, a fan favorite, Al Jackson sounds off on the wackiest, craziest viral videos and trends he can find. So don't go anywhere.
Did you hear my Tory zing?
He's very proud of the Tory zing.
What was the Tory zing? I almost forgot.
I think I did too.
You said I'm not good at it, so why would I drive? And I'm like, you come to work every day.
You know my zing?
No, everyone missed it.
We all heard it.
Nobody got it.
Did you hear my zing yesterday?
Jeff,
Yours?
you're
It's my best zing yet.
It's taking people out of process. That's a good thing.
It's a good one. I said if you guys want more info on wine, you can listen to Jeff whine about my vacation.
Oh, wait, that was a good one. But then Sam cut it off. She's like, yeah. And I was like, dude, take it easy.
It's a zing in love. You got to release some energy here. So
all right, now we're talking about Jennifer Gardner?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
What's she doing?
It's just like, it's fine, but I don't like when super rich people try and act like they're one of us.
Yeah.
Like, I'm at Target, she probably touched things like, ew, poor people touch this.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, she does.
Jennifer Garner is a good person.
She seems down to earth.
Really
That's
down to
her
earth.
character that she was taught to play
I've heard-
Juilliard.
No.
Here's what poor people do on Saturday.
No,
I said, okay.
that's Gwyneth Paltrow.
I guarantee you, Jennifer Garner has not talked to a normal American in probably 6 months.
I don't.
No,
think
I
that's
don't
true.
think so.
She seems like she takes her kids to and from school. She walks them there. She's always with them, not in makeup.
I think I'm with you.
I think she's a good mom and
I
a good
think
person.
she's not a good mom. I'm not taking it there.
No, I just think she's more down to earth than you're giving her credit.
But honestly, from those videos, if she had on like her hair up and a pair of like just glasses, I don't know if I would know. I'd be like, wow, I don't know if I would notice it's Jennifer Gardner.
She looked very, very normal. She also has awesome Instagram videos, but she's been real kooky lately of her making food and stuff, just like a handheld camera in her kitchen.
So
I guess she has a lot of.
What do you put on your Instagram?
If you guys want to follow me, everyone else has a lot of Instagram followers and I don't. So follow me.
And you're gonna see her making food and all sorts of kooky stuff like Jennifer Gardner.
No, I put up, epic fails. I think those self-deprecation is excellent.
There's a lot of dog videos.
What don't you understand?
Yeah, but it's like, you lived in L.A.
I drove in LA to my auditions and
That's
to work.
even worse.
Well, to be honest, I was stuck in traffic a lot. You didn't go very fast, to be super honest.
That's a good point.
I didn't. I went side streets. I didn't take the
We're
freeway.
gonna make you like do an obstacle course. That's gonna be awesome.
I will.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. It's time now for everyone's favorite segment, Al Sounds Off. And comedian Al Jackson goes off on the wildest stories he can
Jeff.
find.
How you feeling, brother?
Feeling good, man.
Like you in the black, man.
Thanks, man. I'm like some of my Johnny Cash.
There we go. That's right.
Let's do it. All right, Al. You like a good deli sandwich,
I'm
right,
from
Al?
Cleveland. I grew up in delis.
You're like me, buddy. All right, it's time to sound off on his 3-pound monster from last night's Man vs. Food. Check this out.
Eli drops a pound of corned beef and pastrami onto the first slice of bread, and the half a pound of roast beef, the half pound of roast turkey, lettuce and tomato, and the final slice of bread. This is Man vs. Manhattan!
I think we got a new 2-man crew.
Yeah, I think we just proved that men can get pregnant. Finally, a sandwich that makes you hug your kids goodbye before you go into the bathroom. And I mean, it's 4 sandwiches stacked on top of each other. That's not, you know, a normal. It's but usually in a picnic basket, not your stomach. Let's go to the next one.
I really
and
wanna
also,
eat that.
I need one of those sandwiches.
Yeah, I need one too, man. I need one too. All right, when it comes to father-son time, this dad doesn't want to waste any of it chasing a fly ball. Enjoy this.
All right, this is cute. You know, I just like this kid because he's like, I'm going to buy one with my son, but I'm not going to be standing up to do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's baseball and fishing. It's like combining the 2 most boring things in Mount Rushmore. All we need is shuffleboard and something else, horseshoes.
There you go.
Let's go to the last
one. All right,
one.
Al, 80 years ago, Oscar Mayer introduced the Wienermobile, and this summer, they're taking their hot dogs to new heights with the Oscar Mayer Jetpack. That's right. Check it out.
Ooh.
It's our mission to get a better hot dog in every hand. So when the world calls out for a better hot dog, Oscar Mayer, taking hot dogs to new heights.
All right.
Finally, superhero giving girls his wiener. But it's good. We have a superhero that's giving people what they want.
Yeah.
Love handles. I thought that jetpack was embarrassing, but I mean, the only thing more embarrassing than that is being seen next to the Oscar Mayer wiener.
I know.
Mobile. That's ridiculous.
Who would do one of those, Al?
Not me.
Wait a second, Al.
All right.
What's that?
I'm kind of obsessed with hot dogs. Sorry, Oscar Mayer. Bring that car back.
Send us a pack.
That's
All right, everybody. That's Al Sounds Off, and this is comedian Al Jackson. We are live. Raquel Villanueva with news at the moment.
Well, Jeff, the flashy girl from Flushing, Queens could be coming back. We're talking a nanny reboot. Fran Drescher is dropping some major hints right now. She says she's working on a, quote, big project, and it will be very exciting to fans. Now, the series ended in 1999, and the reboot would focus on their lives 20 years later.
Oh my God, Mr. Sheffield!
Is she still going to be a nanny?
Well, no. She actually says she's going to use her big queen's mouth to do greater goods like environmental issues, health, and civil liberties.
And in the end, she got married to Mr. Sheffield.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you. I was going to make you guys do it, and you guys just did it.
Oh, yeah. Isn't it illegal to marry your nanny?
No.
I know, right?
It's not good. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Hashtag me what?
Okay.
And we're moving on. What's your favorite summer food? You might want to think twice about that comment, Al, or what you're grilling this season. Brett Forrest has this story coming in hot.
That's right. Delish.com put together a list of summer foods you should never eat, and apparently some dishes are doing more harm than good. We put our hosts to the test.
So what's the worst summer food for you? Barbecue sauce? Guessing that has a ton of sugar.
I'm gonna go with the corn on the cob because that's what they give to the pigs to make them fat.
They always say don't put any ketchup on your hot dog. So that's my sneaky answer. It's the hot dogs because there's ketchup on it.
Everything on this tray is bad for you.
They're all terrible for you? Even corn?
According to Delish.com, kernels can cause gum inflammation and extra plaque.
Barbecue sauce isn't good for you because 2 tablespoons of this stuff can pack nearly 100 calories. Try dry rub instead. Okay, I will.
They've recognized a direct cause and effect relationship between colorectal cancer and food and sausage casing. Can we have any joy left in life?
I agree with Al. I feel like we all need to live a little bit because watermelon with seeds even made the list because it can apparently cause major bloating. Yum.
Yeah, stay out of my backyard with your sad facts.
Yeah.
Listen, let's just have some fun in this life.
Don't bring that Google to my backyard.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't want your health facts. I want to
Summer went like that all
eat
of a
and drink
sudden.
too much and worry about it tomorrow.
There you go.
Good plan,
Advice
Al.
from Al. Coming up on Daily Blast Live, an emotional interview with a woman who was forced to drop rape charges against her 4 attackers. 20 years later, she is fighting back. You don't want to miss it. That's next.
Start your day the DBL way. Go to our website or Facebook page and subscribe to our free morning newsletter, The Breakfast Blast. It's delivered right to your inbox and it gives you the latest headlines. Subscribe now and be in the know before your first cup of joe.
Okay, I didn't mean to make you guys all wait. It's just because Raquel and I have nothing to talk about. So what should we talk about? I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Tori yesterday promised everyone we'd talk about my fight. We never actually did. And I missed Friday, the day after my fight last week. So I haven't been here, and I took that well-deserved break the day after. But yes, I did win, and I ended up, thanks to a lot of DBL Nation viewers like you guys and staff here, I ended up raising over $6,000 for my fundraiser. Surpassed my goal by a lot. The goal was $5,000, so I beat that by a lot thanks to all your guys' donations and support. So thank you for that. And all my money was going to go to the pediatric cancer care at the Children's Hospital of Colorado, because let's be honest, cancer is awful no matter what, but especially with children. So thank you guys again for that. I was just talking about my donations.
He did so good. I wasn't there because I was in freaking Cape Cod, but I watched it, and you have been training for how long?
4 months.
Dude, and you can't wear a beard during regulation boxing.
That's why I became a baby face.
And then turned to the, so he went to the barber. I know way too much about Brett. Yeah. And he asked for the Thor Ragnarok. And so the stripies here, I think it helped.
Yeah, it's cool. Because I mean, my hair was kind of long before, and I just didn't want to deal with that falling in my face. So got the haircut, had to shave the beard, and I look like a different person, but I came out victorious, which is pretty awesome.
Tell me something. How nervous, and be super honest, don't be cool Brett Force, be Tory Brett Force.
Okay.
How nervous were you about to get on the ring, in the ring?
So a few minutes before the fight.
Did you throw up?
I threw up after the fight, I did not throw up before the fight, but yeah, I got really nervous once the gloves are on, my mouth guard was in, there's no going back.
You can't,
yeah,
that's
and
right.
I was sweating hard before I even got out there.
What did you come out to? What music?
Apache Jump On It by Sugar Hill Gang.
Jump on it! Jump on. Oh, we have to pay for it if I keep singing.
It was important to get the crowd on my side, and I thought that was a good song to do it. But yeah, it was a thrill, it was a rush. Glad it's over though.
3, 2,
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. Today we are shining the DBL spotlight on fighting back against sexual violence.
In 1998, I was drugged and brutally gang raped by 4 men.
2 of whom were football players for Oregon State University. It was her word against the college athletes. The community backlash left Brenda suicidal. Defeated, Brenda dropped the charges. Unfortunately, campus sexual assaults continue to make headlines. Today, Brenda is launching Set the Expectation, a pledge for athletes and coaches to be part of the fight against sexual violence.
Brenda Tracy joins us now. First, Brenda, I want to thank you for joining us. You know that I saw you over a year ago on the TD Jakes show, and it changed my life and my story. So I'm so happy to have you here today. Oh. And it's a really big day for you because your website and pledge launched today. What does the pledge promise, and what does it mean to you almost 20 years after you were raped?
Just ask coaches to stand in front of the room with their players and say that sexual assault and physical violence is never okay, and that their behavior was attached to their eligibility. So if you were going to commit a crime, then you lost the privilege to play sports. I think the biggest thing is that, you know, seeing everything that's happening now makes me feel like what I went through was not in vain.
No, and I understand that. You know, it's interesting that you would have to give incentives to people to not commit a sexual assault, but it might foreshadow your answer for why did you decide to drop the rape charges 20 years ago?
The DA told me I didn't have a good case. The DA said that it would be really hard for me to win. I would have to go through 4 separate trials. I was being called names by my community. I was receiving death threats. The backlash was horrible towards me.
I want to ask what the response has been from athletes who have learned about your story and signed the pledge.
The men and the coaches that I work with have really responded well to me. I think that most of our men want to do good. I think that they want to change these things. I think sometimes they just don't know how, and that's one of the things I do is I go out and I help men understand why this is their problem and why they need to step up.
Well, I encourage you to continue to do this work as well. What words of advice or encouragement do you have for other victims in similar situations?
So I would say, number one, you're not alone. It is not your fault. The only thing that causes sexual assault or rape is the person committing it.
Well, Brenda, I have to tell you, I will never forget the day that you were on my television in my living room and made me acknowledge my truth. So thank you so much. You have been absolutely dynamic, and you are so brave and brilliant. And I just want to thank you for fighting against sexual violence. And again, for more information and to sign the pledge, go to settheexpectation.com. Thank you, sister.
Thank you so much. I think you're amazing, and I wish you nothing but love and peace and healing and all kinds of amazing, amazing things, because you deserve every bit of it.
That was great, Cobb.
Thank you. I just want to thank Brenda because, like I said, I was sitting at home just watching it and so captivated, and she randomly reached out to me after the Cosby verdict on Twitter, and I saw her name and I responded, I know exactly who you are, because I never forgot her name, and she's just incredible, and I'm really glad we connected.
It's called, in Hebrew, you say beshert, and that means it was meant to be you two to connect.
I love that.
Yeah, beshert.
We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought.
Beshert?
Beshert.
Well, tell the people.
So beshert is B''S-H-E-R-E-T, and it really means, it doesn't have to be a romantic thing. It meant in this universe, it's almost like kismet. Do you guys know kismet, right? Yeah. You're meant to somehow connect, and no matter how many times you put up obstacles, the universe will make it happen that you were meant to be. When you find someone that you realize you knew as a young kid, you say, oh, this is so beshert. So it's a beautiful saying in a Hebrew and Yiddish that my grandparents would say about their marriage. So it's a lovely thing to say, and that was absolutely beshert. Because
Beshert.
Good, and for you to connect with her, the platform for both of you will only get higher and higher and higher.
Yeah, it was like, it's the craziest thing because it was about a year and a half ago, and I was sitting at home. I was actually getting my hair braided, and the TD Jakes show was on, and Brenda was on, and she started telling her story, and I had to like get up because it took the breath out of me. I just lost my breath because I couldn't believe that this woman was sharing such a dynamic story, but it just resonated with me so much. And I remember saying something to the woman who was braiding my hair, and I made a comment so haphazardly, and I said, this time next year, I'm gonna be on the TD Jakes show. And she said, oh, really? Congratulations. And I'm like, she's like, what is it gonna be about? And I'm like, I don't know, but it's just something that just came to my mind. And like the crazy thing is, we're owned by the same company. This is a time slot, and here I am a year later speaking to Brenda. In that same, like, it's just the crazy.
What do you call that?
Beshert.
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 Well done, Cobb.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live.
And Jeff,
great day,
I have
man.
one comment I want to read, and I know Eric is getting them together. It says, at Daily Blast Live, I think you can claim your place as the voice that is making a difference in this immigration issue, and you should be proud of your program.
Oh, my God, wow.
So that means a lot. So thank you, Hugh Bean.
And thank you, Hugh. And I was just going to say that I'm proud of you guys. You know, we had a tough discussion today, and
It's not easy to do this and be live and be composed, so I'm so proud to have support from you guys, and it means a lot when you let us know that.
Well, the DBL Nation, thank you for usurping my first comment.
I didn't know if you were still looking for comments.
Samuel Riojas on Facebook says, how can I help? I live in Kingsville, Texas. I can speak English and Spanish very well. Facebook, I am another person who is at the same position, being separated from my mother at the border. I will adopt a kid. Please contact me.
Look into the ACLU.
Go to our social pages, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.